What is up, everybody? Good evening, good morning to some of you. Haven't done one
You'll
of
see
these in
the
a
sun
long time.
soon.
Yeah, haven't done one of these in a while, one of these little impromptu late night things, but I'm wired. I can't go to sleep. I just got done recording my third video of the day, and so I was like, who's up? CP's always up. So we're just gonna bullshit and hang out. You guys can throw out questions or topics, or you can just watch us be the knuckleheads that we are. But just figured we'd have fun for a little while, an
Well,
hour, whatever.
hi everybody, CP. If you don't know me, it makes sense. But hi. Um, I guess while it's still sort of fresh, have you watched the Pearl trailer?
Yes. Um,
Thoughts?
like pretty much all horror trailers nowadays, I feel like they show a little too much, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited
Yeah.
for it. Just the fact that it exists is very exciting to me. I mean, I missed the
It.
little teaser that they put out in theaters, so I had no idea until I got home. And they're like,
Ooh.
"Did you see the trailer for the next one?" And I'm like, "The fuck? No!" I left when the words came up. It wasn't Marvel. What the fuck is
I
this?
don't care what
Yeah.
the director is. Fuck this shit. I'm done.
Exactly. I don't give a shit who the key grip is. I'm out. And so, yeah, I didn't catch it. I had to watch it later on YouTube, and I was like, "Holy shit, they're making a prequel! It's already made." And so I assumed it was coming out next year. It's actually coming out this year, which is even more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious about it, though. I am. I loved X. I mean, so did you. We did a commentary
Mm-hmm.
on it for those that haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen it. Easily my favorite horror movie of the year. If it wasn't the year that the Batman came out, it would easily be my number one movie. Period. And so yeah. So I'm very curious about it. I like the fact that you get Mia Goth. You're going to show the younger version of the role, maybe give some more context into why
They
she's so
gave us
fucking
too much
crazy.
about her though.
Yeah, yeah,
Like with the film industry shit, I was like, oh,
yeah,
I could have done without that in the
yep.
trailer. Thanks.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I feel like horror trailers nowadays are just like, here's the movie in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's a movie directed by Scott Derrickson, it seems. So, yeah. I
I love the parallels though, like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she was in the barn and shit. It's like, oh,
And
that yeah, that's
we got till September, so I'm sure my
mm-hmm.
memory is going to cloud before then.
Oh,
So it's
mine
not a big
will,
deal.
but
Yeah. Holy shit! There's a new Pearl movie coming out. Yes, yes, Charles, there is.
wait, what was X? What the fuck was X?
Triple X. Vin Diesel's in this one. Oh, Jake says watching through Banshee right now on season 4. The show is awesome. You were right. Hey man, Banshee's the shit, and it ends while the getting is good. So it's not one of them shows that goes until it starts to suck either. It's a tight 4 seasons. You guys haven't seen Banshee. It's if you like brutal, visceral, violent, like 90s action thrillers, it's basically that in a show. Speaking of Pearl, I figured something out, CP. You like women who can kill you. It's his
Accurate.
quirk. It's his quirk.
I've had it partially done already too.
Yeah. Take this retractable blade. Where would you stick it? I love you.
Here's my bank account. Show me what you do to my life.
Yeah. God. Poor bastard. Thank you, Trey. Are you seeing DC Super Pets? I have no interest in that. Unless my daughter really wants to see it, I will skip that one.
There's one shot. One last holding on to the Pearl trailer talk. There's one shot, and you blink, you miss it, and it looks like an army dude, fucking walking up the road or whatever, and he goes poof, and he just pink mist, and I'm dying to know what the fuck that shot is.
I saw something explode. It's a 1 second shot, but I saw something explode. I didn't tail it back. I try my best not to look at individual frames because I think trailers oftentimes are supposed to be something that you see quick, and then we're in that age where everybody analyzes every frame and they're like, that's fucking Spider-Man on the corner.
Arrow, fucking thumbnail.
Cody, can you do a review of Fright Night Part 2? I have plans to do the rest of the Fright Night franchise, yes. So because I was introduced, well, I knew it existed, I just never made it a priority. I was strongly suggested to watch Fright Night Part 2, and I was shocked at how much I liked it and wondered why the fuck nobody talks about this movie. I've always really liked the remake, and that seems to be an unpopular opinion, so that'll be fun. and I watched the sequel follow-up thing to the remake. Blech. And so
I didn't even know
I've
such things existed.
dude, it's fucking weird. It's got the chick from season 2 of Dexter, Lila,
Ooh,
and she's
I'm
the
interested. Pardon
yeah, I
my
know.
tits.
That's all it was on the cover. I was like, oh yeah, I'll pay $3 for that. And so I watched the movie for my little tier list ranking or whatever. It's so fucking weird because it's called Fright Night 2, obviously meaning like it's a sequel to the remake, but it's the same characters that are recast and even the characters that are dead. So it's not a sequel, it's just another version of Fright Night. But they market it as Fright Night 2.
So it's a requel?
It's a remake basically with no money. And it's aside from I forget her name. Aside from Lila, it's
Pardon
garbage.
my tits. She doesn't have a name to me.
Ooh,
Pardon my tits.
Yes, pardon my tits. The Miami vampire.
Oh, do stop talking. That's when she's buying drugs, for those of you who don't recognize that reference.
There you go. Trey, oh, he just answered that one. So how was the game today? Is that for you? How was the game today?
Who? What? Did we play a game?
Yeah,
I played a game on Twitter, and
unless it's a
some
jigsaw.
right into it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't have to pay for the response, cbmf. I'll see it, but give us some context because we're missing the joke. Aussie of Steel. Hey Cody, not sure if this has been asked, but are you a pro wrestling fan? I'm not. I had a little era there when I was a preteen where Stone Cold and The Rock and all of them were kind of coming up, where I kind of told myself that I liked it, but it was really just because everybody else in my class liked it, and I used to be a little follower before my balls dropped. I used to like playing the PlayStation games. That's about as far as in the fandom as I got, like Shut Your Mouth and those kind of. I used to love that, but I never liked watching wrestling. Not for me. Let me see.
It's a BCS reference?
Better Call Saul reference.
Oh.
Did you like the game? How was the game today? Oh, okay. All right, yeah. If you haven't seen the latest episode of Better Call Saul, then that really escapes you. That was an obscure-ass joke there, buddy. I watched it and reviewed it, and I'm like, huh? You refuse to watch it?
No, till it's done. I'm going to power through it.
Gotcha. Well, you only got 3 episodes left, so you can start now.
I guess I can start.
Have you ever thought of reviewing the original Prom Night if you have seen it? I'm sure I will eventually. There's a lot of backlog stuff that I haven't done. I like the original Prom Night. It's lower budget, but it's effective.
You know, horror today's so woke with all the women that are leading the horror movies. Like, can we just have a strong man in a horror movie that's the star?
On that subject, I cannot. I don't want to say I can't wait, but I can already read all the fucking comments that's going to come out for Prey, because you're following a woman who's trying to show that she can be a hunter, and it's like, it's not heavy-handed at all. But I know as soon as people see one line of dialogue, they're going to be like, "Fucking woke."
Enough's enough, guys. Guys, do your homework. There's a book called Men, Women, Chainsaw, or Women. It's the lineage. Women have always been the lead characters in horror movies. Sorry, I don't know where you're getting this from.
Final guy is not really a term I've heard very often. Hey Cody, did you watch Stranger Things season 4? I did. I did a live stream on Sledgehammer Horror. If you guys are not subscribers to that channel, go ahead and rectify that.
Forever.
But yeah, I did a live stream on their channel. I chose not to cover it on my channel for reasons. I've talked about it before. I need to get into it again. But I didn't like the way that the PR department treated a lot of content creators, and so I chose not to cover it on my channel. But I did give all of my thoughts and predictions for season 5 on a live stream on Sledgehammer Horror. So go check out his channel. It's from like 2 weeks ago, so you should be able to find it without scrolling too far. But I did like the season. CP, Deftones ranking was great. Any more music related vids from either of you on the calendar? Well, actually,
Interesting question.
Yeah, let me pop something up really quick. So this is a video that I recorded and will begin editing tomorrow. And so I would say within a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
within a week. Got that coming
Blammo.
down all in your
Ooh, look
face.
at the little thing on the bottom there. Nice.
Yeah, I stuck that in there. I was like, something needs this little black empty corner here. But yes, full credit to this man right here. He's like, hey, you want to do a Alice in Chains tier list? And I was like, hey, yes. So,
Well,
so
there was a bit of a back and forth. You were like, wait a minute, like all their like live albums
oh
too.
yeah, I
And
was like,
I was like, no, 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 no,
yeah,
no.
I was like, you know how many fucking greatest hits they have? They're like, are we really
The
gonna have to do
fucking
that?
box
And you were,
too.
yeah, exactly. The singles. So no, we're doing all of the studio released albums, the 2 EPs, Sap
Mhm.
and Jar of Flies, and MTV Unplugged. So yes, within a week you will have that all up in your face.
And thank you, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Thoughts on The Mummy 1999 and its sequels? I love The Mummy. I love the original. I think it holds up well. I think it's a lot of fun. Mummy Returns is a lot of fun too, but it doesn't age as well because of the CG and everything like that. So that one is still fun, not quite a classic in my mind. I remember dick about the one with Jet Li, aside from the fact that it was not very
Likewise.
good.
Likewise.
I remember there was a point in the movie where there's like Yeti monsters, and the Yeti kicks a guy through a field goal, and one of the Yetis goes. And I was like, what
Oh,
fucking movie is this? That's all I remember about that movie is that one scene. And I was just like, that's the legacy that it has. But yeah, I love the 1999 one. I think it holds up very well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think of it like you. So shout out to somebody who made a long 12 episode series about the year itself. You have to think about the year that it came out in, and the other things that it was just so it was so perfect for that period when it came out. It was action, it was fun, it was, it wasn't
Got a little
too,
horror in it. It had a lot of
yeah,
different things
yeah.
going
It was
for
like
it.
Indiana Jones with some extra little fucking dank
Yeah, it was a really
horror
good
vibe
way
to it.
to modernize the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
I will take the Mummy 1999 over the Tom Cruise one every day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a high bar, but I'm just saying, Tom Cruise blockbuster that's going for similar things. I think that they did it way better in 1999.
Listen, TC fucking after watching Top Gun Maverick, the guy puts 150% into whatever the fuck he's doing, and he makes sure that the movie's gonna at least attempt to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But
That was a
the
really
Mummy
weird misstep for him, wasn't it? It was just
Yeah.
like, where did this go wrong? Like, this had
Yeah.
every element to be awesome.
yeah,
I don't know. Do you
shame.
guys think that Anthony Starr deserves an Emmy? He's got stiff competition. I mean, he's Emmy worthy. It's the guy that plays Homelander. If you're watching The Boys,
Nope.
he's also the lead in Banshee. I think he's better in Banshee personally, but yeah, he's really good as Homelander. Homelander is becoming a little bit one note for me. I will say that was a criticism I had with season 3, where it's just like, okay, we're kind of playing this out a little bit. He's damn good. I'll just say that. But you're in a year where you're playing against Bob Odenkirk and you're playing against Ozark just ended. I've heard nothing but amazing things from that. So, I didn't even see that.
That woke statement triggered my fight or flight.
How do you feel about Italian horror, specifically Fulci, Diodato, Argento, etc.?
Not the color of blood. It is very pinkish.
Yeah, I admittedly I have not dipped myself into that side of horror very much. I've said this before. My time in a certain Facebook group kind of destroyed certain things in horror for me for a while, because it was they tended to just overhype the fuck out of certain things. So there was a certain era in this Facebook group where all of a sudden everybody was Giallo fans. And I was like, oh shit, I need to get on this. And so I watched Suspiria, which I did like. I didn't think it was the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. Like, a lot of people made it out like it was going to change your life. I did like it. I would like to watch it again. I followed that up with Tenebrae, that I hated. And then I followed that up with The Beyond, which took me 5 times to get through half of it because I kept falling asleep. So I have not had a good experience thus far with Italian horror, but I have not experienced very much of it.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean the one that everybody goes to. Fuck, in my head and out. They remade it in 2018. Why is it slipping my Suspiria?
Hmm.
Yeah, it, it it looks fantastic. It's made well. Not exactly my cup of tea. The remake
Hmm.
I actually thought I didn't like for a while, but I actually kind of enjoy the polar flip they do
I
with
love the
like it's
changes
so
that they made.
gray.
I just
Yeah,
thought it was really long, and I didn't understand the Tilda Swinton thing where she's playing like
the
men and all these
dude.
different roles.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just that felt.
That's way too woke for me. Uh,
I just thought it was a little pretentious,
yeah,
but we'll
yeah,
go with
yeah,
woke.
yeah, yeah. It was like, wait, that dude looks. Who the fuck is that? Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, Tilda. Um, but yeah, it was said that *Malignant* was like super inspired by Italian horror,
Yeah, yeah, I could
and
see that.
you could see that. Like Italians, just that. I mean, if you want to put it really generalize, it's really about color.
Yeah.
It's horror about color, uh, and they're a little silly sometimes.
If you want to
Most
hear
times.
Brian Lomax just go off, ask him or tell him how great Giallo movies that have goblin scores are, and just sit back and enjoy. On the subject of Giallo, though, she's also in this the Sledgehammer Horror Stranger Things stream. Sweet and Spooky is a channel that you guys should check out if you like Giallo. She's a big Giallo fan. When's the next horror tier list? Next weekend. I was going to do it for early next week, but um, this one is the fifth one, and Prey is going to be on that list, and I cannot legally talk about that movie in any extended fashion until after the third. So I'm gonna put that off until that weekend. So you'll get my Prey review on like the third, which is a Wednesday. You'll get my They Them review on Friday, and then Saturday we'll do either the Predator ranking or the horror five cool tier list. And the
Michael
next
kills
day you'll
Karen.
yeah,
I
the
just
next
broke
day you'll
his
get the other
legal
one.
engagement there. That's all.
Keep up the amazing work on your content. Thank you so much. Let me see here. Thoughts on the Black Phone? Well, you finally
I
watched it,
just
didn't you?
saw it. I just
Okay,
saw it. Yeah,
so
good
start. We'll
shit.
start with you.
Really, really good shit, dude. If you want to talk about atmosphere,
Hmm.
dude, I could have swore I was watching a movie that was made in the 70s.
Oh yeah, they
It
recreate that
is
era really well.
it is phenomenal
A
looking.
lot of times it's very face value. They put like a car, maybe the clothes, and then they'll play some like Blue Oyster Cult or something
Yeah.
like that. But then they really
You
kind
see a
of
pink Dodge Neon, you're like, what the fuck?
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Is that a cordless phone?
Why would he have a cell phone? What
Yeah.
is this shit?
Oreo O's weren't a cereal then. Yeah.
Fucking gotta get that product placement in.
Yeah,
Fucking, well,
exactly.
they pay for half the shit, so we gotta put the box.
I really
No,
like
but
that movie.
yeah.
Aside from X, I mean, that's easily my second favorite horror of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Ethan Hawke's
it's not.
incredible in that movie
Yeah, he's
too.
awesome. I think the Grabber is like people like to really search for like new horror icons. I'm like that guy's got potential right there. Like I'm on his train.
Yeah, you want some shit to cosplay as? There's what, four
Yeah,
masks made by
yeah.
Tom Savini.
Hmm.
Uh, it I wouldn't even call it a horror movie, to be honest with you. It's a
No,
fucking
that
thriller.
was the only thing that I said. It was a little bit mismarketed because I didn't find it to be much of a horror either. It certainly wasn't scary for me. I just thought it was a really good story and really good characters.
Hmm.
I fucking loved the little sister. She was like
Oh
the
yeah,
character of the
badass.
year when she
Yeah,
runs in with with that rock to
with
beat the
the
bullies.
fight.
You
Yeah.
cocksuckers! I was just like, oh, she's awesome. Like there was so much about her that I loved. I mean,
There's a lot that's like brutally real too.
yeah, when she's getting her ass whooped.
Faraday from Lost is the dad
Hmm.
of the two kids. You'll recognize him if you don't know Lost. He's the dude
He's in
who camps
Justified
at.
as well.
Is he?
Hmm.
He's also the guy who has all of the ammunition and stays on the steps while his partner gets murdered in Saving Private Ryan. He's that guy. The guy who just sits on the stairs and cries with all the weapons. Um, he's a deadbeat dad in this movie, and it shows abuse like trigger warning. It's fucking real. And
Hmm.
these brother and sister, like you buy that they're in this together, and she's the stronger of the two because it's first act stuff, fuck it.
Hmm.
Dad's wailing on the daughter for some fucked reason, and the brother he like freezes. He can't help her.
Hmm.
But like you said, to the polar opposite, when the brother's getting his ass kicked by a bully, she comes fucking steamrolling in and just fucking taking three guys on at once, and
Hmm.
she's tough.
Yeah.
And I can't say much more than that.
Yeah. There's other
And
little things that I could nitpick about, but it's one of
oh
those things
sure.
where your experience does the things that technically you could point out as flaws really affect your experience, and
Hmm.
not really for me. I drove 2 hours and 15 minutes to go see it in Jacksonville because it was playing a week early, and
I
I
flew
felt like
six
it was
hours.
yeah, I felt like it was worth every trip, every mile of the trip. So yeah, I really loved that one. I thought it was much better. If you're going to compare it to Scott Derrickson's previous work, I thought it was much better than Sinister, which people tend to hold in very high
I
regard.
agree. I agree.
So
Sinister's already fallen out of my skull.
yeah,
Uh,
Sinister was one of those movies that was destroyed by the trailer because it literally showed the whole fucking movie. And when I went to go see it, I was just like, aside from like the Super 8 jump scares, which were really good, I've seen this whole fucking movie. Like I saw everything coming.
mhm.
So I've never been as high on that movie as everybody else. But the Black Phone, I'm a big champion for. It is on VOD. It's like $25 to buy, $20 to rent, something like that.
Call my uncle
Um,
too. He's got it
yeah,
crystal
yeah,
clear.
it's available places. So
Yeah.
highly recommend for me and Charles.
And me as well. It's number two. It's number two only to X for me right now. It's
Yeah.
ahead of Batman.
Do you want to
Um,
see a sequel to it, or I guess it'd be a prequel or anything like that? Yeah, I'm the
mm,
same way. They're already
I
talking
like
about it because it's making money and it's successful, and I'm like, some movies just need to be one and done.
a quick shout out to the end editing. The editing, there's the way that it's a slow build towards
Hmm.
the end of the film, and I'll give it away if I say Silence of the Lambs, but it has that feel to it.
Mm.
Uh, nice job on the edit there and in the third act. Um, but no, the fact that we had no idea why Ethan Hawke, excuse me, the grabber was doing what he was doing, why or anything about him
Hmm.
was
It's just
like,
implied and very
yeah,
subtly.
yeah,
So there's
it,
things
it's
to explore if they want to, but there's also a lot of value in
mm-hmm.
ambiguity to me.
just fear the unknown. Just some fucking
Yeah.
dude who likes to sit topless in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Fuck it, with a weird face mask on. I'm in.
For the next Batman film, which villains would you like to see, and are there any comic stories you'd like to see adapted or used as inspiration?
Brian's not here today.
I know, right? So we can get through this in
Sorry,
less than
guys.
half an hour. Uh, uh, I love you, Brian.
Yes,
Uh,
hearts, Brian.
which
I'll come and get you.
storyline? Yeah, there you go. Which storyline? I mean, Hush is a good one that they've talked about. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that one. They've already hinted at Hush as a villain as well. Um, Long Halloween has been pieces of it have been adapted a couple of times. A full-on adaptation of that I think would be pretty cool in live action. But I like original stories more than anything, so I'm not
Yeah.
really worried about them going straight for the previous stories. As far as villains, Hush would be cool. Already said that. I would love to see if there's any way to do a grounded version of Mr. Freeze. I don't know if you can, but if anybody
Wow.
can, it's Matt Reeves. I want to see Hugo Strange. Hugo Strange would be a really cool mental villain for this type of Batman that I think would be interesting.
You could have Hugo Freeze be like a CEO of some sort of fucking like what was that shit they used in Terminator 2 to freeze the fucking
Yeah, liquid nitrogen.
liquid nitrogen? Like he could be like a CEO of one of those companies and something
Yeah,
like that.
they would have to really play with the lore there. They would have to have
Yeah.
it to where he's, there's obviously a wife in peril somewhere, and maybe he just murders people and freezes their bodies or something, like the
Uh-huh.
ice truck killer in Dexter or something. There's a way to do it, but you'd
Yeah.
have to
Yeah. Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really take liberties, which they did with the Riddler,
And
kind
yeah,
of.
like you said, that it sounds grounded. I
Yeah.
mean, I would. I mean, shit. Shout out to Dexter. We're a bunch of Dexter simps, man. Fuck.
I'm telling you, man. There was a comment earlier like, you guys should do a Dexter character tier list, and I'm like, I kind of want to.
More reasons to go back.
Yes, exactly. Fuck the ending, but I still want to talk about it. Cody, I'm glad your first 31 on 31 video is your most viewed. Me too, man.
Me too.
I was so tired of that shitty early Halloween ranking being my number one. I'm like, I suck in this video. I'm fucking tired. I got a 2-month-old. And or it was a 1-month-old at that point, but that for the longest time, for years, has been my number one. Now I can at least say a video that's still a very prevalent thing on my channel is number one.
Yeah, people really oversimplify those videos as rankings, but Cody really deserves all the credit because that year when he said, you know, something's happening this year, and the idea was to get the big three to rank them all together, and like that was when creativity was like really. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like people like ranking videos, and they're the biggest three, and I think I was the one with like, wait a minute, how many are there?
Yeah, you were.
And
it was like lightning in a bottle twice, because I had just finished. I did the first review series I did on my channel was Nightmare on Elm Street, and then I followed that up with Friday the 13th. And then I did Halloween because Halloween 2018 was coming out. So it was like a two thing. It was one, because there's a new Halloween movie out, might as well capitalize on it. And there was also, it was like a celebration that I just finished the big three franchises. So let's rank them all together like a showdown. And I brought it to all of you guys. And it was like, all right, yeah, that sounds cool. We'll do that. And then like a week or so later, you just randomly threw this thumbnail. You're like 31 on 31. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And you were like, there's 31 movies and we're doing it on the 31st. I was like, holy shit, that's actually pretty cool.
Marketing.
I like that. Yeah. And so, yeah. And then, a year later, we're like, let's do it again. And then we'll do it again. And we're doing it again this year. So
you have to, I'm speaking literally, you have to be both flattered and insulted at times when you see some random YouTuber that has their 31 on 31. And it's
there's dozens of them out there now. And maybe 40% of them actually acknowledge us. They're just like, I'm doing this thing that I see everybody doing on YouTube. And I'm like, motherfucker.
It's not a tag video, shithead.
Yeah. Most of them, though, to be fair. I'm not somebody that cares too much anywhere, but most of them are like, very low effort. Like there's some of them that don't even have audio. It's just posters and a little slideshow thing. I'm just like, whatever. I don't.
Dude, to be inspiring is that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I have had a couple of people thankfully that have been like, hey, I like this idea. Do you mind? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to feel like I take ownership of it. Like if you want to rank them. But when people use the title 31 on 31, that's where I get frustrated. Where I'm like, okay, that's literally like a brand at this point. Like, what the fuck?
We have shirts, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Would you check out Wolf Creek? It's a great gory Australia. I have seen it before. It didn't really blow my skirt up.
That may have to fall under my series. That one.
Yeah, it's a movie that it takes a long time to get going, and then it's just like really violent, and it was just. It's not really like a sexual assault revenge type movie, but it fits neatly into those, Last House on the Left, I Spit on Your Grave type feeling
everything
movies.
French.
Yeah, really, really realistic and a little gritty, and Yeah, it didn't do much for me, but it's been years since I've seen it. Cody, do you play Fortnite? I have only played Fortnite once when Uncle Sean was here, staying at my my humble establishment for about a week. That was the last. It was either the last day or the day before the last day that he was here, where him and his kids played a lot. My kids played a lot, so everybody was like peer pressuring me, and I was like, "Fine, I'll play it." It was kind of fun. It's not really the type of game that I would get into, but that's just because I'm kind of antisocial when I game. I like to get into stories and single player adventures and characters, and I'm not really a multiplayer guy. Do you guys like Clint Eastwood?
Sure.
I haven't seen very many of his movies, to be honest with you.
You have. You just don't know it.
Oh, I know he's done a shitload. But I haven't seen most of them. I've seen.
You've seen stuff he's directed for sure.
A couple of them.
That.
A couple of them. Yeah, I've seen Gran Torino. I like that one. I've seen Mystic River.
Did you see The Mule?
I did not. I saw American Sniper.
Okay.
A lot of his movies that he's acting in, I have not seen. I've never seen any of the Westerns. I've never seen any of the Dirty Harry movies. I haven't seen any of like even the Unforgiven, or just Unforgiven. Excuse me, Metallica fan coming out in me. Just
the Unforgiven too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I don't have very much experience with him, but I mean, he's an icon for a reason.
I'm not a big Westerns guy, but if you can get yourself into those Dollars trilogy, that's like primo.
Westerns, I gotta really be in the mood for. Just like war movies, I gotta really be in the mood for them. Are you fans of Lane Staley's other band, Mad Season? Not nearly as much as Alice in Chains, but I do like a few of their songs. Although I will say, I don't remember if this is Mad Season. I think this might be somebody else that Lane did. Is Mad Season the one that did Hunger Strike?
That's Temple of the Dog.
Temple of the Dog. Thank you. I knew it was something else.
Similar but different.
Any of the Lane Staley
like a mixture
side
of
projects.
the same people.
Yes, any of the Lane Staley side projects, I like them, but
Class of '99.
Hunger Strike is one of those songs that I'm fine if I don't ever hear again, just because that's the only Lane Staley side project song that gets regular airplay, and everybody's done a fucking cover
Chris
of
Cornell.
it. Yeah,
that is Chris Cornell. Lane Staley's not involved in that song.
Oh, he's not? What the fuck am I?
Hunger Strike.
Didn't he do something with Chris Cornell? I'm bleeding shit together then. But anyway, Hunger Strike then, whatever. But that's I still say the same thing.
Sap. Chris Cornell's on Sap.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I know they did a song together, and I'm confusing the two. But I don't. Hunger Strike is the song that I've seen every modern band that's come out in the last 15 years do a fucking cover of it. Shit. Now my mind's going nuts because I know there's a fucking song that Lane. It's a Lane Staley song, but Chris Cornell comes in for like guest spots. Somebody's gonna mention it, and I'll scroll past it in 20 minutes and be like, "Oh yeah, that one."
yeah. I owned the Mad Season vinyl, lost it in the divorce, and now it's worth a fuck ton because that's the way things happen. But there are 2 or 3. I don't know anything, which is me. Is a really good, that's a really good song. It's essentially Lane Staley and Pearl Jam is what that band is.
Gotcha. Okay. I know he did a couple different things. He also did the Class of '99 thing when he did.
I hate that's the last thing he released. That's the last thing that we have of his. But yeah.
Hey Cody, are you planning to rank the Final Destination deaths after you do your reviews? I want to, just like I wanted to do all the Saw traps, but YouTube royally fucked me on the 4 slay lists that I have done. YouTube does not like horror stuff. If you put kill or anything like that in the title, you're asking for trouble. If you have a video that's mostly kill scenes, you're asking for trouble. And so it's a lot of work that goes into videos like that where you're compiling 40, 50 deaths. And fuck, I did one that was 181. And your reward is YouTube going, ha, Yellow fucking $, bitch.
You got a yellow. My base mois are red. I don't make money on base moi. I'm just
Yeah.
like, all right. I hope I get subscribers off it then
Yeah.
because
The yellow
fuckers.
$, might as well be the red one. I mean,
Yeah.
you get
Oh
nothing
yeah.
off of it. And when you don't make a lot of money off of it, YouTube doesn't make a lot of money off of it, so they don't recommend it. And so you put a fuckload of time and energy and effort into something that not many people see.
You would
Uh,
think because didn't they do kids for a bit? YouTube Kids.
Yeah, they did YouTube Kids, and then there was that big lawsuit about advertising for kids. So now you got to notate in every single upload whether it's for kids or not. And if it's
You
for kids, supposedly your revenue won't be as much because there's a select amount of things that you can
right.
advertise to kids. Luckily,
You would
all of mine say no, not for kids.
you would think they would just like have a tier for like horror or like R-rated stuff. Like
Yeah.
what the fuck
Well, they kind of do with the age restricted stuff, but again, they don't reach enough people. It's the same reason why theater or why studios don't want to make certain movies rated R, because they know that when you limit yourself to how many people can watch it, you're going to make less
Mhm.
money. And so it's the same thing. Like I had, which amazes me because apparently you're allowed to have nudity on YouTube now. Like there was some music video that somebody sent me, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And it was Maya Hawke, from Stranger Things, Ethan Hawke and
No.
Uma Thurman's daughter. Apparently, she's a musician, and
Oh.
somebody was like, "Hey, have you seen Maya Hawke's new?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's a musician." And I turn it on, and she's like naked the whole fucking video. I'm like, "This is on YouTube," and I'm looking, and there's tits and everything, and I'm like, "How the fuck does that work?" And yet, I have
Yo.
my Child's Play slay list that took a long fucking time, and there's literally like a shower scene in one kill where it shows an obscured quarter of a nipple
Blurry.
behind a fucking shower curtain, and they age restricted me for it and blocked me in Canada or some shit. And I'm like, how the fuck does that work? But this chick can barely be clothed at all for a
It's got
4-minute
4
music
commercial
video.
breaks too.
I'm telling you. And so I was like, I don't know. YouTube has evolved in weird ways. But anyway, big tangent from your question. I would love to do a video like that. I may do something just to test the waters to see if maybe they have loosened a little bit, but
No.
nothing hammers you in the balls more than putting a lot of time and effort into editing something and YouTube saying no. I mean, I have no problem making a video like that if a lot of people are going to watch it and it's something that everybody's going to enjoy, but especially now being that this is my one source of income, it's hard for me to justify putting that much time into something that I see no return on. Super chat's not working, but worst to best superhero movies so far this year. Morbius at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, what came out this year? What Marvel shit came out this year? Thor: Love and Thunder, probably right above that. I wasn't a fan of that. I did like Doctor Strange.
I did not.
Batman's number 1.
Yeah.
I think that's it this year, unless I'm missing one. I don't think I am, because everything else I'm thinking of is all Disney Plus shit.
Yeah, I think I'm just Morbius, Doctor Strange, and Batman, in that order, bottom to top.
Yeah, exactly the same, but stick Love and Thunder for me just above Morbius, and not far above it, unfortunately. Thoughts on the trailer for Dexter: A Newer Blood? Ha! Good joke.
Cody.
Yes.
You discussed off air, and I apologize if I'm burying your next week of content, but I just had somebody on the side ask something, and I guess this will be me asking anyway because I share this sentiment. Advice for somebody who's on YouTube and is kind of just stuck in the mud, wheels spinning. Not much going on.
I mean, it depends on why you're stuck in the mud. I find that it tends to be a bit of a snowball effect with people that I notice they get stuck in the mud, is that they possibly spend too much time doing videos, or they don't do enough videos, and because they put so much time and effort, just like we were talking about just a minute ago, and that don't see the return that they want, then they get discouraged and they get less interested in doing more videos, and then before you know it, it's been a month since they've uploaded. All that I can say as far as channel, if you're trying to get some traction on YouTube, is that first of all, you want to pick a niche. You want your channel to be focused. I was having a talk with somebody today about their channel where they're trying to do two, and somebody a couple days ago where they're trying to do two very different things with one channel.
Yeah,
and I'm
I
like,
have that problem.
yeah, and it's like it doesn't work that way, honestly. Like if you have a dedicated fan base, they'll watch most of whatever you do, but
Mm-hmm.
YouTube doesn't know how to sift through that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I explained it to this person as, imagine going into Outback Steakhouse and Outback Steakhouse decides to start making tacos. They might be awesome tacos, but nobody's pulling into Outback thinking these bitches got tacos.
Yeah.
And so you got to kind of have a bit of a focus. You can venture out a little bit, but you want the people that subscribe and watch your channel to know what they're getting. So when they subscribe to mine, they know they're getting movie reviews and movie rankings. And even more specific, they know it's mostly going to be horror. So if I go off and start doing cooking videos on this channel, there might be a certain amount of people that are like, oh, that's cool. It's different. I'll watch that. But a lot of people are like, I subscribe to this motherfucker for horror reviews. I ain't watching this shit. And so then that video doesn't perform well. And then YouTube looks at it as, you got 80,000 subscribers and only 1,300 people watch this video. Obviously, it sucks. I'm not recommending it to anybody else. And anything you do like this, I'm not recommending that either. And so it's important to stay focused. Keep a consistent upload schedule, whether that's 1 a week, 2 a week, 3 a month, whatever. And
there's shortcuts to be exploited to that. I mean,
of
whether
course,
or not you want to admit it, there's
yeah,
things that people
there's shortcuts. And manage your time well. We all love to dump our heart and soul into videos. This is more specific to you there, Chucky. But you have CP, for example, treats every video like it's going up for an award. He will edit that motherfucker for 4 weeks. He will go back and do 18 passes. He will add all these bells and whistles and then look at me and be like, why the fuck have only 200 people watched it? And I was like, because you haven't uploaded in 2 months, and the last thing you did was a live stream. And so it's
Cody makes fun of me for putting 3 intros on my live streams, and that's literally what I do with every video. I'm like, which one should I use?
All of them.
Fuck all of them.
Exactly. I was trying to, back a couple of months ago, whenever I first started doing tier lists, I was like, CP was kind of pumping the brakes a bit for medical reasons and didn't want to do stressful stuff, which basically means he can't edit anything because he stresses about everything. And so I texted him and I was like, hey, don't laugh at me, but I just did a tier list for Freddy and it's doing pretty well. It was really easy. Let's do a Jason one. And I was like, and I'm telling you this because it's so simple. You just do this and edit it. And it's so easy and it's so perfect for what you need. And he texts back and he's like, well, if I do that shit, I'm going to have to do a fucking intro and I'm going to have this. And I was like, motherfucker, make it simple. Quit overcomplicating it. And so yeah, everything that CP does, he dumps all of his effort into. He uses all of his, all the tools in his belt. And that's great for big premiere content. But
yeah,
you're going to exhaust yourself if you do that for every video. And he knows. So sometimes it's okay to do 2 or 3 videos in between that you didn't have to put a whole lot of effort and time into. A lot of times it's just about keeping your face in front of people.
Yeah, I make the mistake of trying to win people over with quality, not quantity. And
you got to balance both.
You
don't want to go too far the other way either. You don't want to have an upload a day where it all looks like it took you 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and have
not
a
naming any
where
names.
you're like all tiny and fucking garbage. And yeah, but yeah, I do suffer from that. Where if I'm not live streaming, just talking to camera, I fail to lower the standard to something where I could just get this out, out. It's not that big a deal. Go.
Yes. Exactly. And to that topic, one of the reasons I was wired and wanted to do this is because I just recorded about an hour-long video talking specifically about YouTube stuff. how to grow a channel, how to start a channel, how to make money on YouTube, everything like that. So that video will be out within a week. There'll be a lot of good information, hopefully, in that one. Any chance you might do a tier list or ranking of George Romero's films? There are some masterpieces and some real stinkers, so it'd be fun. I haven't seen a lot of his movies. I've only seen the first 4 of the Living Dead or whatever. I've seen Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and
Land
of the Dead, and that's basically it with Romero's movies. I don't know how many he has outside of that. I know there's still 2 more of the Deads I haven't seen. I know that there's the Crazies, maybe eventually, but I'm not particularly a fan of his movies, even the ones that everybody's supposed to like or you get yelled at on YouTube. So yeah, not really my cup of tea. Maybe eventually, but it's not one that I would rush out to go finish his filmography for. Let's see. The Willmeister, Lane Staley, Jerry Cantrell, or William Duvall. Who is Alice in Chains' best voice, and which era do you prefer? Lane Staley by a fucking country mile.
Yeah.
Jerry Cantrell, I will say, is very underrated and very underappreciated for what he actually contributes, because a lot of people don't realize how much vocals he actually contributes, even to the early stuff. It's mixed in a certain way where it almost feels like it's one voice when it's really both of them. It's
the harmony.
Yeah. For me, and this is a point that I make in the video that we're releasing within a week, I can distinguish very easily between Lane and Jerry in the first 3 albums.
Sure.
William Duvall feels like he's Jason Newstedted a bit, where they kind of turn him down, and it's more so Jerry Cantrell. But William Duvall is good. He's a good singer to add to that band. It's unfair to expect him to live up to Lane Staley, but he doesn't.
I agree. I agree.
But there's some songs where he's prevalent, like Last of My Kind is a good one off of Black Gives Way to Blue, where he's really good. I've seen some live footage where he does really good. So he's a good, capable singer. Which era do you prefer? Landslide victory for the Lane era. I think Black Gives Way to Blue is an awesome album. I have not been as big of a fan of the other 2.
And the funny thing is, I think I say this in my video, that Black Gives Way to Blue has scraps from like riffs and shit that Alice in Chains wrote when Lane
I can
was
believe
still alive.
That. Yeah, you can tell that album was 14 years of work, and the others are just a couple years of work.
What's the track that's 7 minutes and 40 seconds long? Their first single.
A Looking in View.
That if you replace William Duvall's voice with Lane Staley, that's an Alice in Chains. That's 90s Alice in Chains.
Yeah, that was the first single, and I was like, wow, they sound like Alice in Chains. That's pretty cool, and I got excited. And then they released Check My Brain, which is very new Alice in Chains. I'm a fan of that one, so you could turn your nose up. But I was just like, ooh, this is cool.
I like The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. That's a weird fucking song.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I always get the same answer when I ask people this, but Cody always has interesting takes. Not always. Sometimes I give the correct answer.
All right, Brian.
I even make a point to say in my tier list video where I'm like, I have no idea if these are hot takes or not. I have no clue what the general consensus is for Alice in Chains fans. So there might be a couple doozies.
With my Deftones thing, I thought people hated the self-titled.
Oh, God, dude. I always find out the hard way. I remember when I reviewed Ghostbusters 2, people are like, how the fuck do you not love this classic masterpiece? And I'm like, even Bill Murray hates this fucking movie. What are you yelling at me for? There's always some surprise one where I'm like, where the fuck do these people come from? I've never heard anybody talk about this movie, and all these fucking fans come out of nowhere all angry.
There's got to be like some sort of scientific study about nostalgia versus quality.
Oh, and dude. Yeah, some people can't. I'm very self-aware when it comes to nostalgia. Like, I can watch movies, and perfect example, when Sean was here, I introduced him to The Lost Boys. Like, he knew The Lost Boys, but he never saw it before. And we watched it, and he's like, yeah, that was good. I enjoy it. I have no idea why the hell it's like your favorite horror movie of all time, but it was cool. And I'm like, I get it. I've watched it for 30 years. I watched it when I was a kid. I have all this attachment to it. You watched it for the first time today.
Yeah, like when I asked you to watch Brain Scan too, that has a special place for me.
Yeah,
It's not that
always.
big a
And
deal.
it's always a little disappointing when you have such a high attachment
Yeah.
to something and you give it to somebody hoping that they share what you, and they're like,
What do
not
you
really.
mean just okay? But
Yeah,
what about
exactly. Yeah. So there's always a little disappointment with that, but the key is knowing where that comes from, and knowing why you love it so much. Thoughts on Chucky season 2? Big Chucky fan who, like you, was always brought into horror by Child's Play 2 and 3. Um, did you watch the trailer? The one that was at San Diego Comic-Con? Okay. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, obviously, I'm excited to a degree because I did enjoy overall the first season. Had some issues with it, but I enjoyed it. Season 2, I don't necessarily get excited about the story that they're deciding to tell. They're sticking with the same kids, and they're just fixing the story on them when it seemed like the story was leaving that town. And I thought it was going to be like anthology style where we're going to go to this new town.
Yeah,
There's this new cast
like
of characters.
Fargo. Yeah.
Yes, apparently not.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know how I like sticking around with the kids. I feel like their stories were done. Maybe I'll be proven wrong in October. I love Devon Sawa. I don't understand. This is where it gets goofy and a little too self-aware for me. He's playing a brand new character.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And one that interacts with the children. And even though it was just a trailer, so I haven't seen the whole season, they don't seem to point any attention to, hey, you look like my dad. So that's a little weird for me. I think that the humor and the campiness gets in their way a little bit sometimes.
I'm kind of getting tired of. Well, listen, I'm just going on your thoughts of. I'm going by secondhand speak of a trailer, but he's got this history. Mancini's got this history of one up, one down, one up, one down, one up, one down.
He tends to contain himself and be a little bit more back to the roots. Gets everybody in the good graces, and then he goes bananas. And some people love that. Some people get turned off, and then he goes back a little bit, and then he does it again. Yeah, it's so he I agree. You know, you can't love Child's Play without having admiration for the guy because he's been around since the beginning. He's written all the ones that I love. I think that he is a good director. Overall, I love Curse of Chucky. I think he did an awesome job with that one. And I did enjoy season 1 way more than I thought I was going to.
Right. If to parallel what you're talking about, two television series that premiered last year that I heard about for like months and didn't want any part of was Chucky and Dexter. I didn't want them. I didn't want them. And if you told me by the 3rd episode of Chucky that I would like that series more than Dexter as a whole, after 3 episodes, I would have been like, "You're fucking drunk."
Dude, you could have told me that back when we just had the trailers. Like, this is going to be better than Dexter. I'm like, well, either this is going to blow my mind or Dexter's really going to shit the bed. Yeah, that's shame on you or shame on me and you for judging a book by its cover. But yeah, I agree. That's always I have like this. I keep Mancini stuff at arm's distance because I'm always worried that I'm going to get hurt. I'm like, okay, I trust you now. And then all of a sudden the weird shit comes out again. I'm like, oh, you did it again. You got Glenn and Glenda in the trailer. So that's going to come back. Which Jennifer Tilly looks like she's chewing the scenery just as much as she did in season 1. So something is itching the fuck out of my nose and it's driving me nuts. I look like I have a coke habit. You ever have like those mustache hairs that like curl up and tickle the inside of your nostril? Yeah, I get that all the time, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, and then when I try to pick at it, it's like 5 sneezes directly in a row. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I didn't mean to tickle myself.
So yeah, long story short, I'm still looking forward to the season because I did enjoy season 1, and I've learned to be more optimistic. Since season 1, but the trailer did not increase my excitement. If anything, it increased my worry a little bit. Yeah. Willmeister, I'm in a hospital bed in pain. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what's more painful, this or the sheer stupidity this show is sometimes. Cody gave one of the less negative reviews, and I'm an optimist, but dancing Evelyn, I have no words.
Good catch.
Are you watching Resident Evil? Dancing Evelyn. I'm assuming you're talking about Resident Evil since you said I gave one of the less negative reviews.
Please stop reading.
Anyway.
That word.
Huh?
I said, please stop reading that word.
Yeah.
Negative, just negative.
Yeah. What's good, Cody? I'm surprised you haven't done a John Wick 4 trailer reaction. What is your thoughts on it? I don't do trailer reactions for everything. I only do it for something that's really prevalent. It looked like John Wick. I don't know. I wasn't as huge on John Wick Chapter 3 as everybody else. I think it had some of the best action, but story-wise, I think they took a big dip. And I feel like that franchise is going to be one of those franchises that's going to go on a bit too long. So I'll be there day one to check it out. But it looked like more John Wick stuff. So it wasn't.
When 3 ended, it was like, really?
Well, I thought walking into 3 that they set it up to be like this perfect trilogy. You know, at 2, he gets, excommunicated or whatever. And so now the whole world of assassins is coming for his ass. And I was like, that's a perfect final chapter right there. And I thought they had said that they were doing that. And then you watch 3 and it feels like that for a while. And they're like, just kidding. See you in 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I get it. I mean, the quality for the most part has been consistent. They make more money and more money, I guess. But, I'm also one of those fans that I can put my own selfish wants aside for the good of the franchise. Like, I don't want John Wick 7.
Yeah. It's a hell of a fall he took.
It's diminishing returns after a while. I'm sorry. You can only make the fight scenes and the shooting scenes so extravagant before it starts to seem stupid. I mean, look what happened to Fast and Furious. So I don't want to reach that point. If the original Nightmare was the first horror movie you ever saw instead of Child's Play 3, would you place it over Dream Warriors despite the ending? No, because I placed Child's Play 2 and Bride of Chucky over Child's Play 3. So, no, I still think that I would prefer Dream Warriors by a razor's edge. The fact that Child's Play 3 is my first horror film, it makes me have an attachment to that movie, but I'm still very aware of its flaws.
Yeah, Friday 4 is my first horror movie. It's not my favorite. I'm trying to go a different franchise. It's an interesting question. It's hard to answer though. It's like unremembering shit. It's like, I don't know. Turns out I like The Happening.
Let me see.
Thank you,
Hey,
Jake.
Zach.
Your
What's
check's
up?
in the mail.
These guys suck. Well,
Cool.
on paper, Mr. Freeze sounds like he'd be a good grounded villain, but I feel like there are entities that aren't meant to be grounded. Arnold's Freeze is as grounded as I'd like to see him after all. And that's fair. That's fair.
Grounded, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Tony Chappie, one of the guys I met at MegaCon. Cody and CP, what did you guys think of the DC panel at Comic-Con and talk about a missed opportunity not bringing back Henry Cavill? And it's like, how hard is it to get him back as Superman? I got a lot of thoughts on that. Are you familiar with the Marvel or the DC panels that from 2-3 days ago?
I was on Twitter.
Okay, so you're aware.
That's all I'll say.
So I think it was Deadline. Deadline released this news article that there was confirmed rumors or inside source saying that they were going to bring out Henry Cavill as a big surprise return during the DC panel at Comic-Con.
Oh, that's right.
Turned out,
I remember Rudy saying something like that.
Yes. Turned out it was absolute bullshit. And look, I love Henry Cavill's Superman. I think Man of Steel is one of the best comic book movies ever made. I would be happier than pigs and shit if they announced a Man of Steel 2. But at some point, guys, as a fan base, we've got to let fucking go. People are just going to drag this Snyderverse shit out until to a painful length if we haven't already gotten there. The dude got fucked over by DC or Warner Brothers hard. his version of Justice League was infinitely better than the one that they made with Joss Whedon. I think that over time, you've seen a lot of people understand and appreciate what he was doing with his 3 movies a lot more than they did upon release. And he got fucked over with Batman and Superman too, because they released the mangled cut. I get it. Warner Brothers has made it abundantly fucking clear. They have no interest in working with Zack Snyder anymore. They have no interest in doing any more Snyderverse stuff. And you still have Snyder fans that will not let it go. There's still hope. If we just review bomb every movie, then they'll eventually bring him back. And I don't think Zack Snyder is completely innocent in this either. I think he kind of gears his fan base to go attack for him a little bit. And so when you get something like this, and it's Deadline's fault for starting the rumor, but you had every other fucking hype YouTuber like Soups and everybody else that were spreading this shit around like wildfire. And so no matter what they announced or what they showed at the DC panel, everybody set themselves up for extreme disappointment, because as soon as Henry Cavill did not come out, nobody gave a fuck. And that's going to get old after a while. Like I don't want to walk into every single movie. Like even when we walk into Black Adam, there's going to be rumors like, I bet Henry Cavill's going to show up as a post-credit scene. We're going to get him in the next. It's going to go on for fucking ever until people just realize, or until WB finally shits or get off the pot. Like either say we have plans to work with Henry Cavill in the future, or sorry, buddy, we're moving on. Like say something, because
Warner
this
Brothers,
fucking
in the last couple of months, seems like they're a little C-wordy to their stars, because there was that thing when Cavill, when Paramount was like, fuck you, you shoot around his mustache. A certain other major star for Warner Brothers, made a big name in Disney, was recently in a court case, and he was rather bothered with Warner Brothers because of them asking him not to take part in one of their bigger projects. So it just seems like Warner just...
I have a feeling, yeah, now that Discovery has taken over and there's a new boss, new sheriff in town, I think a lot of that's going to change. And I think that's why people are having hope, or saying that they have hope that they're going to come back and say, nah, fuck all that. We're going back and we're doing the Snyderverse, or, we're doing Henry Cavill Superman. But until they say that, like, it's almost like the death of 1,000 cuts. Like you guys are just, the fan base is making it so hard to enjoy what we are getting, because all we talk about is what we're not getting. And I'm not putting that on you, Tony. I'm just saying, for asking the question, I'm just saying in general, that was all I read about San Diego Comic-Con for the first 2 days before it happened, was Henry Cavill's coming back. Henry Cavill's coming back. And then once I checked Twitter and I saw all of the memes of everybody like this, when no Henry Cavill, that was all you heard about DC. Nobody cared about Black Adam. Nobody cared about the fuck's the other movie that they're doing? Shazam. Funny enough, they didn't say jack shit about Flash. They were just like, the Homer Simpson and the hedge thing. I think Marvel did a significantly better job hyping everybody up. There's still the DC fandom thing, I guess, but I don't really care about Black Adam. I love The Rock, but there's nothing about this movie that excites me. Shazam, I can take or leave, and I enjoyed the first one. I'm fatigued with the fun blockbuster PG-13, somewhat generic superhero films. I need stuff like the Batman. I want some change. Shit like Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm tired of it. I've had enough.
He's broken.
Yeah. Hey, Amanda. It's been a while. Sorry, was it 12:24? I'm really 30 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Hey, Cody, so I know Zelda and Pennywise gave you nightmares. Is there a couple of jump scares that almost made you crap your pants? Not that I can think of. I'm sure there's some good jump scares. The one in Exorcist 3 comes to mind. There's been jump scares that have gotten me, but I've never... I know you're saying that for comedic effect. I've never gotten that scared.
Yeah, Zelda, not even like when... Rachel, like when she's on the bed, there's the one where like where she's in the room but like you get
She's
this like
crouched in the
wide,
corner.
yeah, there's this wide shot of the room, and you're like, all right, fucking empty room, what the fuck? And then she like fucking turns around, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
there's a human being in there.
Yeah. Hereditary did that a couple of times too, where they have her up in the corner in the rafters, and you just
Oh
have to
yes,
your
yeah,
eyes have
yeah.
to adjust for a second, and you're like, "What the fuck is that shit?" Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. I did enjoy doing that video. It's just try to get a little caught up now, guys. I'm sorry. What's the best concert you have attended, Charles?
Alice in Chains opening for Van Halen.
Ooh,
I was very young.
very different genres.
Yeah, yeah.
You go from being depressed to fucking dancing in the damn street.
Well, Alice in Chains only had facelift at the time, I think. So
Oh, okay.
they were
They were
heavy.
that was the more metal edge
Yeah,
Alice in Chains, and then they were
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, we're depressed."
And they were opening for Van Hagar, so it was,
Oh wow, even more of a
yeah.
different. I've had a lot of good ones. I haven't been to a bad concert. I don't know if I should knock on wood, but
I got
um,
my ass kicked at a Deftones Limp Bizkit concert. Oh, and that
oh
was the last
man,
one I
yeah.
ever went to.
The most dangerous concert I ever went to was Seether and Papa Roach, believe it or not. There was a little bit of moshing in Seether. I paid,
Mm.
or actually Holly did. Holly paid extra for early entry because it was general admission, and so you get in the first couple of rows, and Seether, there was a couple of moments where you're trying to watch and you're doing this,
Oh,
and I fucking hate that. But Papa Roach, I mean, it was really bad. I mean, like by the third song, he comes out and he's just like, "I want to see the fucking pit open. I want that shit rolling." I'm like, "Fuck!"
I don't care what
we,
you
we
want.
we went from the third row to the back row in one song. So that was a dangerous one, and it was Holly's
Yeah.
first rock concert too. So she's like, "What the fuck is this?" Like she's guarding herself, like she's used to Luke Bryan and shit. And so I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's more violent than what you're used to.
Hold
Doesn't it
my
sound
hand,
cool?"
we'll lose each other.
Best concert. I mean, I've seen Alter Bridge twice. They were amazing both times. There was a concert that I went to with my dad called the Mass Chaos Tour. I think it was in 2012 or something. It was Hailstorm when they were only 2 albums in.
Mm.
The opening band were not a band anymore, but they were the best opening band that I've ever seen. They were heavy, and it was called Man Made Machine. They surprised me. So you had a good opening band, which is a rarity. Hailstorm, very early on when I was just becoming a big fan of them. Stained and Godsmack. And aside from the fact that it felt like Sully from Godsmack didn't interact with the crowd very much, it was just top notch all the way through. I saw we just did the stadium tour a couple of months ago. Me and Holly went and saw Motley Crue and Def Leppard and Joan Jett and Poison. That was awesome. I don't know if I have a best.
Did the Big Four go down to Georgia? Did they
Atlanta.
bring that? They did.
Oh,
They
the
did.
Big Four, but you mean Metallica and all that?
Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax.
I don't know if they did. I didn't see
They
it though.
toured together. That was what it was called, the Big Four.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
Nor did I.
I really wanted to see Metallica when they went down to. Thank you, Vector. When they went down to Rockville, and I had bought tickets to Rockville. It was the same year I bought tickets for the stadium tour, but then 2020 happened. And they gave you the option. They were like, "Do you want to refund your tickets or do you want to apply it to next year?" And I didn't have faith that they were going to secure Metallica for a second year.
Yeah.
So I got my refund, and then it turned out that they did, but it was still iffy with COVID and the masks and
Yeah.
the rainy weather. And
you
to be
hold
honest
them.
with you, I went to Rockville once in 2019, and it's pretty exhausting. Like going to those all day festivals is fucking rough. I mean, you got Florida heat, Florida humidity. You're on your feet from sun up to sundown. There's moshing. You walk around the whole fucking day. And so even though it's badass seeing all these bands, it's rough. It fucks you up physically. And so that was the other part of it where I'm like I loved it as much as I hated it. Who's the hardest? Oh, what is the hardest 31 on 31 you had to make? The last one that we did, the fantasy one.
Yeah. I couldn't even partake.
Yeah, I wanted to. That was something I wanted to do to kind of challenge myself because a lot of those franchises I'd never seen, and I'm like, look, I'm tired of not being able to have the conversation when it comes to Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, and so that was my idea, and then I regretted it immediately because I really enjoyed Harry Potter. I watched those like 2 or 3 months before we were supposed to do the video. Um, Narnia was hard to get through. That was very kid centric, and I couldn't get into that. Um, Star Wars was easy because I already knew those. I didn't have to rewatch any of those. And then Lord of the Rings really fucked me up because I made the mistake of listening to everybody and watching the extended versions. Because everybody, I think even Brian included,
Kiss
was
a week
like,
goodbye.
you never watched the theatrical, only watch the extended. Those are the only ones that exist. And so I was watching these fucking movies what felt like forever. And it was exhausting. Like, I've made fun of CP plenty of times because we've done these and he goes into binge mode and then he hates the franchise. And he's just like, I watched 8 of these fucking things and I'm just sick of them. And then it just drops whatever enjoyment he had for some of them. And so I always tell him, like, break it up a little bit or don't binge them all. And so I didn't follow my own
Fucking
rule.
Lethal Weapon has suffered so hard because of
Oh man, fucking Lethal Weapon 2 didn't even break like 28. We were like, what the fuck is going on? Those fucking
I'm
saxophones.
like, I get it. You're too old for this shit. Let's fucking go.
You got the Lomax award that year. But yeah, so I was literally watching Lord of the Rings for like 3 days with little breaks. And it was fucking rough. So yeah, that was the hardest one by far. And I procrastinated, so I was also on a time crunch. But I made it. Let me see. Are you reviewing The Last of Us show? I absolutely will. Can you sing Joel's part in The Last of Us 2 song, motherfucker? We know you can sing. I don't even remember what song that is. I mean, your chances are slim of me singing anyway, but when I don't even know the lyrics, I can't help you out. Chances of a 31 sci-fi action: The Matrix, Terminator, Aliens, Predator, etc.
Christ.
Hope y'all's night has been well. Cody, have you ever thought about reviewing musician biopics, kind of like 8 Mile, Walk the Line, Elvis? I don't think there's a market for that on my channel. I mean, I review the new ones sometimes, or have I? Maybe I haven't. I saw Elvis. I really liked Elvis, but I didn't think that review was going to perform well, so I didn't bother with it. No, I guess is the short answer. Will I be reviewing them? I watched some of them, but there's just that I don't think my audience cares about that so much. So unfortunately, I do have to make marketing type decisions here and there. I can't just review everything. Worried Chucky backed itself in a corner with Nika. Yeah, I don't have faith in that storyline. What do you guys think of Orphan First Kill? Why?
Brilliant. Yeah. One word.
Really like the first one. If you're gonna do another one, let alone a prequel, maybe you shouldn't have waited like 15 fucking years or however long it's been. You can do all of the practical work and CGI that you want, although I think they've been proudly exclaiming that they've only done practical work, but that chick looks way older. And I don't like prequels for the most part. There's a few exceptions, but prequels always tend to answer questions that I wasn't asking or answer them with answers that I don't like. And so you add in the fact that it's directed by the guy that made The Boy 2, and that's the only reference I have to go off of with his work. I'm not excited for it. I'll watch it, but I watched House of a Thousand Corpses recently, still questioning how I made it all the way to the end, made it halfway through Devil's Rejects. It made me feel gross, couldn't finish it. Yeah, they're not pleasant. I'm going to review all 3 of those when The Monsters comes out.
I knew I liked you, Alonzo. You got a hell of a point there. Fucking Howard Jones rocks, and I love me some Seven Dust.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw that, and Alonzo's a staple in my chats, and you got a hell of a point, man.
Yeah, they're good. There's something about the deepness of the voice I think that it gives a little different edge to it because yeah, Howard Jones and especially LaJohn Witherspoon have like this grit to them.
Fucking living color, cold personality. Fuck yeah.
Do you guys like cheesy shark movies? Big fan of The Shallows and both 47 Meters Down flicks. General thoughts? Any recommendations? I am not at all. There's only two shark movies that I like. There's Jaws and Deep Blue Sea. The rest of them, I think are stupid. You?
You see, I get really like fine line when it comes to cheesy. Like when I watch cheesy shit, I either want it to be like, you know, Tommy Wiseau, like somebody trying to,
Full stupid.
yeah, trying to do well, but like really missing. But like I don't want like when somebody's purposely making like the fucking
Like the
Sharknado
Meg.
shit. Like, yeah, I all right. The Meg is okay. I enjoyed the Meg,
Hmm.
but like when they go over the top to like just let you know that they know they're being over the top. It's just like, all right. I've seen epic movie. Thanks. I'm all set. I It depends. It really depends. I'm night and day with those,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
especially the shark ones. The fucking shark ones. Fuck off.
Yeah, they haven't gotten the shark movie right since Jaws in my mind. Deep Blue Sea is the only exception, but that's a very
Shallows I
self-aware.
enjoyed. I
I
enjoyed
didn't get so
Shallows.
much into the shallows. To me, that was I don't remember what my issue was with it, but yeah, I'm just not. That's just not my thing, I guess. Scratching my head with the Devon Sawa thing, but maybe he'll be like Sarah Paulson in the cast of American Horror Story, playing different character each season. Well, those
I
seasons,
guess.
from what I've seen, don't intermingle. Like Sarah Paulson's not meeting characters from the other seasons that I know of. It's
Right.
especially silly in this context because you have three kids that knew both versions of Devon Sawa in the season one. One of them is the nephew, and so when you put another Devon Sawa character, unless they find a really clever way to poke fun at it, to me it's just like, okay, I love Devon Sawa. I'm totally fine with him coming back again just to have the actor back because he's great and he was great in season one. But that Mancini tends to lean into the silly, campy, over the
Mm,
top humor, and that's kind of an example of that. It's just like it's like Jennifer Tilly playing Jennifer Tilly in Seed of Chucky. It's like, why the
yeah,
fuck does this exist?
that's where I get like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just what? Stop.
Yep, I meant Resident Evil when I mentioned Dancing Evelyn. What was your first reaction, thoughts? I'm curious. I don't even remember Dancing Evelyn, to be honest with you. I watched that season and I reviewed it and I thought it was fine. I knew everybody was going to rip it a new ass because it wasn't 100% adaptation of the games, but I think for what they did, there's more merit to it than a lot of people are going to give it credit for. But
I think Variety reported today that there's a very slim
oh,
chance
yeah,
they're getting renewed.
I knew that. There's no way. And that's the thing that's silly about, and that was the biggest point that I made in my review too, is like, look, there is some things that you're doing here that's interesting. There is some ideas here that's interesting. There are some ways that you have made the game canon be the history of the show that is creative. I love Lance Reddick as Wesker. I think they did a good job at using that. But how fucking difficult is it to just give us an adaptation? Like it just seems like the most obvious thing that they won't do. It's almost like there's somebody there that's like just refusing out of spite. Like if I was in charge at Netflix and somebody came to me with a budget and said, "Hey, I want to do a Resident Evil series. What should we do with this budget?" Okay, we're going to make an 8 episode season off the first game. We're going to go through, we're
Sold.
going to go as faithful as possible. There's plenty of things that you can do to flesh out that game and bring some new flavor to it with 8 hours of content, but you can also stay very faithful. And if that succeeds, guess what? We'll do season 2 as Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 together if we have to. And
Yeah,
then we got Code Veronica and
Raccoon City felt like some sort of politics played into it, so that becoming some sort of hybrid
yeah.
because it's all there. It's just so fast. Like
Yeah.
take pace yourself. What do you
It
mean?
felt like somebody that really had the best intentions, but they knew they weren't going to be able to do Resident Evil 2, and so they just wanted to do both. They were like, fuck it, I'm only getting one shot, I'm doing both. And that was the movie's biggest detriment, because you're watching it and it's just, as a fan, like, the love is everywhere. You're like, dude, you get it. You get it. It's not like you're knocking it out of the park, but you get it. But when you have two huge stories that are just competing the entire time, it's like, ugh. Edward Scissorhands review. If no, what are your thoughts? I'm not really a big Tim Burton fan. That movie's fine. That's one of the Tim Burton movies that I can watch and be fine with. But I really don't vibe with Tim Burton. By a Razor's Edge, you made reference in the past. Are you a wrestling fan? I don't hear those words too much outside the sport. I didn't even know that was a wrestling term. To me, it's pretty literal. By a Razor's Edge, like, the difference is this big.
You'd be surprised how much wrestling does it the other way around. They'll take pop culture and make it into something of theirs.
The whole mustache thing was two studios being dicks to each other for no reason. In that very story, they were telling Superman had a full-on beard when he came back. Seems like an easy fix to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Paramount's side with that one. I mean, not only is Mission Impossible way better than, I would say, either of the Justice League's, hot take, but when you have a contract that you have Henry Cavill for this amount of time, and then because you're fucking incompetent, all of a sudden you want him more, and you want us to do all the extra work and compromise our movie to digitally put... No, fuck you. You work around it, not us. He's ours right now. Totally on their side. I don't think that they're dicks at all for taking that stance. Hey, another one. Okay, since everyone likes to troll you asking Seed versus Freddy's Dead, let's do Dream Warriors versus Child's Play 2. Most entertaining to watch. Dream Warriors. Most entertaining, Dream Warriors. Has got a little bit more pizzazz to it. It's a close race, though. It's a very close race. I mean, they're both 5 out of 5s for me. So it's. I mean, you're asking me to pick my favorite children at that point. But Dream Warriors, I do think, has a little bit more style, a little bit more energy to it, where Child's Play 2 is just a really good, efficient Child's Play movie. Do you have a difference of opinion on that?
No, I would make the exact same selection, although without all that Child's Play 2 fluff.
I don't think so. Child's Play 2 is not your favorite, is it?
No, one is.
One is. Is it your second favorite?
Yes.
Okay. I know Brian had a wild ass ranking when we ranked those. I couldn't remember if yours was quite as crazy. Or it was fairly low on that 31 on 31. That's what I'm thinking of. It wasn't even in the top half, I don't think. But that was with Scream, and that was with Scream and Evil Dead and Psycho and all that. So I think you stuck most of those franchises above all of Child's Play.
People beat the fuck out of me over my Evil Dead ranking, so
I
might have been in the top half.
That's such a hard one for me too, because everybody adores Evil Dead 2 when that one is my least favorite, and it feels weird when I watch. I've given it so many chances. I watched it whenever I did my Sam Raimi ranking a few months ago, and I'm like, maybe this is the time it'll click. Like, it's one of the movies I feel like something's wrong with me, because everybody swears it's so good, and I'm watching it and I'm just like, just past the first 15 minutes, it just loses me. Something about
the first 15 minutes is the first movie all over again.
Maybe that's what it is. It's weird, because I think what it is for me is that when I watch Evil Dead, I either want them to go full horror or full slapstick.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead 2 tries to do both, and I don't feel like I get my fill on either.
Yeah. All of Evil Dead, with the exception of the remake, were in my 20s. And the remake I really liked.
Oh, I love the remake.
Really liked.
Yeah. Everyone make their God of War pre-orders yet? I have not. I don't really pre-order much anymore. There's not much point to it.
Oh, there's PS5s available? That's crazy.
Yeah. They're getting more available. But no, typically, with the exception, for as crazy as I am about physical media when it comes to movies, I have almost gone all digital when it comes to video games. For one, is just for space. But two, I don't like having to go out to the store to buy a game when I can literally click a fucking button and download it.
Yeah,
and I like being able to switch between games and re-download it. Like it's not the same as it's not like having a Netflix subscription where you're not sure if it's going to have this movie for very long, or Google Play could fucking shut down and you could lose that, or Vudu or whatever. Like PlayStation's not going anywhere.
first
So,
of all, Xbox Game Pass could be like the future of what video games is.
oh, it is for sure, because
It's
PlayStation's already
fantastic.
jumped on that with PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
Like we're heading that route.
and secondly, the fact that once they know their games coming, you could pre-order it and then opt to pre-install it, and
Yeah,
like
and
the
play
fucking
it
thing's
minute
waiting.
one.
Yeah, right.
That's what's hard for me is before
Yeah.
the first nail in the coffin for me buying physical games is that Best Buy and Amazon both got extremely unreliable about delivering them on release date.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon used to have guaranteed release date delivery, and only
Mm-hmm.
once in a while would they fuck that up, and it would piss me off. But now you just get it that week sometime.
Yep.
And Best Buy has been a little more reliable, but there's still been quite a few times where it's gotten delayed or back ordered or whatever, and then I'm canceling my shit and going around to GameStop. But
Mm-hmm.
aside from that, even when they were reliable, you still wouldn't get it until late afternoon. And now I can
Fucking
literally
thing
play it
installs, and you're like, oh,
12:01
3 hours.
a.m.
Yeah.
play. And so yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to justify buying for new games. Older games I'm fine. If it's on discount somewhere, I'll buy it, take it home all day long. But new games, I tend to just the night or a couple of days before bought, well, technically I guess pre-ordered, even though it's only a day or so, and
Mm-hmm.
pre-install it and then
Yep.
just fucking go when I wake up that day.
It's phenomenal, phenomenal. Whoever the fuck thought of that?
Yeah. And the install is a
Earned your
big
grace.
thing nowadays, especially with the size of games. I mean, there's
Mm.
like the Xbox Series X is significantly better about this. But when Xbox One came out, you weren't playing that shit the first fucking day you had it if it was a sizable game, man. That fucking thing took forever to install. It used to piss me off. It'd be like a fucking 2-hour wait time, and then there'd be updates. You're like, fuck, I don't want to play a fucking game. What happened to
Let me go watch
click?
Titanic while this installs.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. It's like, what happened to the fucking days where you just shove the cartridge in and go? And so, yeah.
Fucking hey, man.
Chucky's design and Seed of Chucky was one of the best in the franchise. Agreed. Yeah, there's not really any difference between Seed and Bride. I mean, my Chucky back there is technically from Seed, but you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you that.
Did you pre-order Shout Factory? They did this. They have this little figure with the fucking charred up Chucky from Part One.
No.
Oh,
I pre-ordered the Blu-rays, the 4K Blu-rays with the new art, but I
uh-huh.
did the one just before the NECA figure. I just don't have any more room for shit, dude. Like every fucking
Preach.
every single inch of counter space is gone in this room. I mean, fuck, you can look along my movie shelves. There's just shit. And so I already have that Chucky. I have the dollar store Chucky down there that's still in the good guy box. I've got the little, foot high Child's Play 3 Chucky. Like I got enough Chuckies.
Yeah, I just
I
remember
would
seeing it, thinking,
yeah.
that screams Cody.
Oh yeah. I'll take a Tiffany if anybody wants to. If anybody likes me enough to spend $600. People ask me that, like, are you gonna get the Tiffany? And I'm like, look, it was a really hard justification to spend $600 on that fucking thing, but that was like a bucket list item.
Hey, do you
Would
like
I
sleeping
like
on
to
the
have?
couch?
Would I like to have Tiffany? Yes, but I couldn't justify spending $600 on it. Oh shit! Let me see. That is bounce. I think I'm almost caught up. Amanda, Cody, I ordered you this badass neon Cody Leach sign for your den. Can't wait for it to come in. Oh,
That's
cool.
badass.
Thank you.
Hope it doesn't spell like that, because that's weird.
Cod Leach.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yes, that's cool. Thank you, Amanda. That's very cool. I think we're caught up on super chats. I believe. I don't think I missed any. Okay, good. I'm going to do some regular questions now.
Regular questions.
Yes.
Cheap old fucking free ones.
We could do the freeloaders now. Cody and CP, what do you think about VHS collectors?
Uh-huh.
I don't get it. I am never going to tell anybody what they should collect because God knows there's more people on this earth that thinks that that is fucking ridiculous. But what I don't understand about VHS collecting is that you're having to watch something on a shitty picture. I don't get the collector's value in that. Like, you can collect vinyls, and vinyls still sound as good today as they did in the fucking 70s and everything like that. Like, vinyls are making a comeback. There's still people that
I have
argue.
quite a few vinyl, yeah.
You know, there's people that argue to this day that vinyls sound better than CDs and MP3s and you know, the streaming and everything like that. Nobody's arguing that VHS looks better than Blu-ray or DVD.
Takes up more space.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I get if you could find like a collector's like old school in its actual case VHS for like maybe some older horror films or something that you can't find anymore. That's kind of cool. But there's people I know that collect VHSs for random shit, like Air Force One on VHS. Like, yeah, and I'm like this. I had somebody send me a whole bunch of VHSs, and I was just like, I don't know what to do with these.
Cool. I can make a table of plastic little.
Yeah.
boxes.
Well, they weren't in the original cases. They were in like the Blockbuster clamshells, which was even more strange. I'm like, I would have to go buy a VCR, buy a conversion kit to go from the red, yellow, and the white to an HDMI and sit and watch something in shitty resolution, which would look even worse on an HD TV. Why? So I don't get it. That is a collecting thing that I feel like is a little pointless. But
for the record, these aren't mine. I am a guest in somebody else's house. DVD, I think I'm above that. I'm all for collecting. I really am. I think, you know, if you have something, owning it is incredible. Ask anybody who's had digital copies of shit, and then that company go out of business, and then all of a sudden your digital copies are gone.
Yeah.
But I just recently saw the first Godfather in 4K, and if you're telling me that you'd rather watch that on VHS, like holding them next to each other, I just don't understand why. Why? Yeah. Because, you know, they're cleaning this shit up. It looks better, and you still have it. You still have it.
Now, their only argument that I could kind of get behind to a degree is, well, not only that, but there are some movies that don't improve with HD touch-ups. Like, there's some slasher movies that actually look worse the more they clean it up because you see all these things you weren't supposed to see. Like, you watch the original Friday the 13th and you see the skin patch on the first kill where she cuts her neck, and you just see rubber. And so there's things like that. There's some other ones too, like the cheaper made movies that knew the film grain and everything was going to hide a lot of the production and the effects and everything like that.
Makes X work.
Yes, exactly. So there is an argument to be made that DVDs, Blu-rays, and eventually 4Ks have made some movies look a little worse, but that's the exception, not the rule. CP Deftones ranking was sweet.
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that.
Let's see. Nostalgia factor in VHS, I guess. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'm like, you either really get it or you really don't.
Yeah. I mean, people collect fucking garden gnomes. It's like, okay.
When will Pitch Wars return? Still waiting for your Nightmare reboot pitch versus CP's Friday the 13th reboot pitch. I don't know. It's an idea that I still have in the back of my head that I really want to revisit at some point. There's two reasons why I haven't revisited it this year. First one is that the plan was that I was going to reboot it with Durbin, who I did the first episode with. But Durbin actually got a job working for the TV show that he was covering on his channel. And so now he's not on YouTube so much on
Good for him.
Durbania. He moved to Texas. He's working for the show. So he kind of got the ultimate outcome of YouTube coverage. So he's very busy doing that. So that's one reason. The other reason was that a few channels did something very similar to Pitch Wars, and I kind of felt like the idea wasn't mine anymore, and I didn't want to release it in a time where these other channels were doing it, because it's just going to look like I'm following them, even though I did it 3 years ago. So letting a little bit of time pass. But I do love that idea, me doing a Nightmare reboot pitch and you doing a Friday the 13th reboot pitch. So
Yeah.
there's no nails in that coffin. We'll say it. We'll say that. Don't typecast yourself. I enjoy your takes regardless of genre. If I search Star Trek and Sean has a ton of reviews and you have one, I'm still going to be disappointed there's no Cody take. I'm not typecasting myself. I mean, I do like to talk about everything. If I enjoy it, I want to talk about it. But there is a very there's a very realistic fact that certain things that I talk about are not going to succeed on this channel. And so you have to, as the person that runs this channel, I have to make the decision of, do I want to talk about this and just say fuck it, or do I want to negatively affect my channel to some degree for the next couple of days, week, whatever. So I'm never going to be a guy who only talks horror. Just like I look at some of these channels that only talk about one franchise or one series or whatever, and it makes me want to fucking vomit, because if I had to do that, I would last a year. So
I got burnt out.
Yeah.
So even we were in a certain circle, I was like, all right, guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a question that I answer in that YouTube video where somebody asks, does it get hard to come up with new ideas without exhausting a subject? And I'm like, yeah, it really fucking does. Like I'm doing a Patreon pick, my top, I don't know if I'm going to do 10 or 20, but my top something of 80s horror movies, which is a fun topic. But then I look at it and I'm like, most people are going to know my number 1, number 2, number 3. And it's just still talking about the same shit, even though I'm a completely different subject.
It's just so redundancy scrambled.
Yeah. Yeah. So it gets a little bit, monotonous after a while. So I need to break out of horror and talk about the Terminator franchise, or talk about Die Hard, or a Goodfellas review or something every once in a while. Even though I know it's not going to do Halloween or Freddy numbers.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Speaking of which.
Nothing. I'm sorry. I'm just doing some math.
Sleepaway Camp on Blu-ray is brutal. Yeah, I don't think I've watched the Blu-ray yet, so I've heard that, though. I watched that movie on Shudder the other day. I don't know if that's the same copy, but that is a good example of a cheaply made movie that I don't think touching it up would do it any favors. The Dick's in HD. Fans of the other members of the Big Four. I know you both love Metallica, but what about Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer? I have the least experience with Slayer, so I can't really say much about them. Admittedly, I just haven't really given them a chance yet. They were kind of painted to me when I was younger as a little too... not Satanist, but along that round. Like, they were really extreme with the religious stuff, and so I kind of got turned off as a young kid to experiencing that, and I just haven't quite gone for it yet. Anthrax is okay. I like some of their older stuff. I'm a big fan of the John Bush era. He's the guy that came in like in the 90s, early 2000s. I like that music much better than I do anything they did with Belladonna. And Megadeth, I'm okay on. I think that they, musician-wise, are awesome.
They get a little political at times, where it's like, all right, Dave.
His singing is what kills it for me. Because he talks, you know what I mean? Like, vocals are very important for me. That's why I can't listen to any of the screaming stuff or anything like that, because that's all I hear is just that.
My pants are tight!
Yeah. There's some Megadeth songs that I love, but I've tried to listen to whole albums and I just don't quite get into them. So, what about you? Obviously, you're not a
I
Megadeth mega fan.
I mean I dig a lot of their older stuff. I think Dave Mustaine, has he let that ship of his fucking getting kicked out of Metallica, has he let that chip off his shoulder yet? Like
It seems like it. I mean, they had that whole thing where they hashed it out in that Saint Anger
in
fucking
the
documentary, and
documentary,
then
yeah.
eventually they all toured together. And there was even the thing. It was like 4 or 5 years ago where they had the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and or not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They were maybe it was the Grammys, excuse me. They were given the Grammy for Best Metal Performance, and his album at the time won it. And when he went
Mhm.
up to get that, they were playing Metallica. They played like Master of Puppets or some shit when he was walking up, and he was like, he was doing that walking up. So I think he's a little bit of a better sport about it. I
Yeah.
mean, he's got no reason to hold a grudge. Like he's proved himself. I mean,
Yeah.
they're synonymous with each other to a certain degree. There's a lot of people out there that swear Megadeth is better than Metallica. So even though Metallica is financially a more successful band historically, he's done it. Like he's
I'm
fine.
good. I'm good on Megadeth from the start to right around Euthanasia. Maybe what is it? Almost Honest. What was the one with the gray cover?
Oh fuck, I don't.
Risk? No, not Risk. No, not
Rust in
Risk.
Peace.
Rust in Pieces. That's old. That's their like second or third album. It was like '99. I want to say it was released.
They had a bit of an Iron Maiden thing going there for a while, where they had
Mm,
the mascot doing different things, and those are the
yeah,
only ones that I can picture in my head.
Killing is my business, and business is good. Rust in
Gotcha.
Peace. Countdown to Extinction is my favorite Megadeth album. I can listen to that start to finish.
Okay.
But you know, lately it's just like yeah, I get it. You hate Bush. Just fucking, what the fuck?
Move on. Favorite Judas Priest album? Are you a fan?
Of some stuff. You know, I'm not. You know, I've never gone out and purchased an album. I'll say that.
Okay. They're one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of Defenders of the Faith. I think that's a really underrated album. Most people say Screaming for Vengeance. I actually would take Defenders of the Faith over that one. So either that, just like with Anthrax, I love the Tim Ripper Owens era of Judas Priest. That era that they want to pretend didn't happen, I think is fucking awesome. Highly underrated. So either of those albums is in argument for my favorite. I thought Firepower, their most recent one, was fucking amazing. Um, I'll say Defenders of the Faith for right now.
Yeah, I can't answer. And it is 6:30 in the morning, and I'm trying not to wake anybody. I'm a guest in this house, and I'm trying not to wake anybody.
We'll wrap it up at 2 hours. I won't.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You don't go on my account. 320 people at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning.
There you go.
Fuck? Who thought?
What is the next 31 on 31 going to be? I'm going to announce it very soon. I've been waiting on the logo to be sent to me, and I got a draft of it today. I wanted to make a small adjustment, hopefully a small adjustment. I don't draw them, so I don't know how small it was. Maybe Woody's cussing me out right now, but I wanted to make an adjustment on it, and so I'm waiting for that to come back, and then I'm going to put together a little trailer. But it's going to be a very, very fun one that we're going to do at the end of August, and around the time that we do that one, we'll finally announce what we're doing for October. But October is going to be big.
I'll
Just
say
I'll just say that.
I already started doing shit for that.
Oh, dude, I could do it right now. I mean, technically,
Mhm.
I just saw a movie that is going to allow me to go ahead and work on the one in August. So, yeah,
Oh.
that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I'm very happy about what we're doing in October, because it's not going to be a big workload, and it's going to be a really fun one. Are we going to do some new videos on the Game Chamber channel? Eventually. I just haven't been playing anything, man. I just can't get into it. I tried to play that new game Stray, and that I'm only getting like 15 minutes before I'm getting I'm just not in a gaming mood lately. I know it sucks. I don't want to just produce content over there that I'm not passionate about just to do it. I know I've let that channel hang in for like 2 months now, but I go through these weird phases where I play the fuck out of video games, and then I go through like 2 or 3 months where I don't even want to pick up a controller.
Well, let's take your Xbox and put it in Heathrow Airport, and then get back to me on how you feel about gaming.
Yeah.
I'm like a fucking meth addict right now. Where the fuck is my shit?
For me, it's not about the picture. It's about experiencing it as was, or if I've seen it as I remember it. Anything past
That's
720p.
nostalgia, though.
Yeah, anything past 720p messes with my eyes, gives me a headache. Not worth counting face pores. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Because
Do you
you're
think
looking at us in at least 720 right now.
1080.
Yeah,
do you think we'll
1080.
ever get another ET movie? I doubt it. Here's an interesting one. What is your favorite Taco Bell menu item? Mine is by a landslide the cheesy gordita crunch.
They took it away. Oh, wait. Did they bring it back? Mexican pizza?
They brought it back for a fucking
They brought-
sneeze, and now it's like sold out everywhere.
I loved Mexican pizza. That was my jam.
Yeah, I love the cheesy gordita crunch that came out in the 90s when I was a kid, and I've been addicted to it ever since. I always have to get one. The other thing that I
Do you remember in the 90s they made those like super long fucking hard shell tacos?
yeah,
With-
they made the chalupa thing where it was like 3 different flavors not too long ago too.
Yeah. They fuck around sometimes and it's like, yeah, all right.
Taco Bell's frustrating because they have the same fucking ingredients, but they always get rid of shit. And it's like, motherfucker, you could make that right now. There's nothing new about that. Like they got rid of the grilled stuffed burrito. That used to be my favorite as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you settle your fucking grill presses? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
exactly. The chili cheese burrito was the one that I loved. That was my favorite thing for a long time. And there's only select Taco Bells that have that now. There's actually like a website with a fucking map where you could find the Taco Bells that have the chili cheese burrito. But yeah, the cheesy gordita crunch is my shit. I love how it's I've made them at home too. I love how it has the crunchy taco, but it also has the soft shell, so you get rid of that problem where you bite it and the whole fucking thing breaks. And it's got that spicy ranch sauce on it that I like. I get your opinions, but earlier in the stream you said you'd buy an old school game. What's the difference between that and a VHS? Super Mario
Big difference.
64 and Scream 2 are both in 4:3, and I have that 90s look. I
That's
mean,
not exactly true.
yeah, it's not quite the same thing. And I'm not really even one that likes to play old games either for very similar reasons. It's more so with the gameplay. Like, have you even tried to play something from like the PS3 era, and you're like your fucking brain doesn't work with
Yeah.
the controls? You're like, what the hell happened to me? I used to rock at this. Like, that gets worse every generation you go back.
Games have always been digital, first of all. So
Yeah.
you're talking about something analog versus something digital, regardless of how old they are. If you're going, black and white here, VHS is something analog. It's tape. It degrades. It'll fucking over time. It'll just be shittier. It's just something that ages. Where Super Mario 64, even if you have the cartridge, it's a fucking computer chip. As long as
Yep.
you keep it out of the fucking sun or water, it'll be the same. And if to kind of slam the point home, if you have whatever Nintendo's, I don't keep track. I don't have kids. Whatever Nintendo's latest thing is,
Switch?
Switch, yeah, you could probably get a copy of Mario 64 on there.
Yeah,
That is,
they have digital versions of all of
Yeah.
those old school games, and those, while they may not be touched up or remastered, the pixels still like they work themselves back together to where even though you can tell you're
Upscaled.
looking at you
Yeah.
can tell you're looking at an older game, but it's much simpler to make a digital cartoon from the 80s and 90s look
it's clean.
good on HD
Yeah.
and clean versus something that was filmed on, what will look like Super 8 when you go back and watch it.
Right. Whereas if you hook up a VHS to a new TV it will look blacks will look gray. Like it's just the way it is. It's not exactly it's not apple. It's apples and oranges. That's I respectfully disagree, sir.
Mm-hmm.
With respect, of course.
Let's see where we're at. Oh, you already got that one.
Yeah.
CP laughing and cackling. Let's see here. Rust in Peace was their fourth album. Risk was the one in 1999.
That's the one with Almost Honest on it? Shit, I fucking hated that fucking mouse music video. Ugh.
I got 2 questions for you. Thoughts on the art for the Lost Boys 4K Steelbook, Simon Pegg for Freddy Krueger? No on the second one. I can't picture the art because there's always different things that are released. I'm sure it looks cool though. Is that the one I'm picturing where it shows all them like floating in the air?
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I can't picture it. No, I don't want.
Peg.
Yeah, that's a weird. It's a weird pick. I don't want anybody recognizable for Freddy, and I know I'll recognize Simon Pegg, but even without that, like, there's nothing about Simon Pegg's career thus far that tells me he would be good for Freddy. He's a comedy guy. Even in the Mission Impossible movies, he's the comedic relief. So I don't.
Oh, he played that big fat fucking store owner in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. 1/4 portion.
Have you considered doing live watch-alongs every week to the new season of Chucky when it comes out in October? No. I'll probably do the same thing I did last year. I'll watch it, I'll review it that night, and then the next night we'll do like a live discussion, spoiler discussion thing. I don't like doing watch-alongs for TV shows because either I'm watching the episode for the first time, and if I have to interact with everybody, it's going to take away from my experience. Or I'm watching every single episode twice.
Yeah.
And neither of those sounds appealing to me. I never liked the idea of doing a watch along with something that I've never seen before. Unless it's something that's like really shitty. Like if CP's like, you got to fucking watch this. Like that's a little different.
Exactly.
But like I would never want to like watch the Batman for the first time.
Yeah, anything you need to process. Why the fuck would you? Why would you do that with an audience and have to worry about,
it would not be a fun stream to watch because either I would either be really into it and not talking to anybody, and you get those comments of like, why the fuck are they just staring? Like, oh, thanks for introducing me to Christine. Awesome. Glad you liked it. Did you like the Wakanda Forever trailer? It was a beautifully put together trailer. You could tell the movie is going to look glorious. I have very, very conflicting feelings on what they're going for story-wise. The whole trailer has this tone of grief, which is obviously because of Chadwick Boseman passing. And there's a part of me that understands, like, if you're going to kill his character canonically in the series, I get having a movie where everybody has to process it, and that's the main plot point. At the same time, there's also something that feels a little icky about it, where you have this guy that died very tragically, extremely young, right at the height of his career, and you're making that the selling point of the movie. Beyond that, I understand, again, that everybody needs to grieve, that the people that made the movie need to grieve, and this movie is probably the process for that. And I don't know, maybe they're going to do this by the end of the movie, but I don't agree with the fact of killing off the character of Black Panther because Chadwick Boseman died. I understand the impact that he made. I understand how important that movie and that character was to a lot of people, but the character is bigger than Chadwick Boseman. And so I don't like the fact of he literally got one fucking movie, and they're just like, well, this character is never going to show up again. We're just going to make somebody else Black Panther. It just, I don't know. And maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe they're going to go multiverse with it and you'll get fucking some other actor that comes in by the end of it. But
That's where these long-term things kind of fuck around, like with like you said, Endgame and Star Wars when they brought everybody back and Carrie Fisher died, and like you had these plans, and now, well, she's fucking dead. Now what?
yeah. Yeah.
It's shitty. His personal story is shitty. But I'll keep saying it. I'm exhausted. I need a break. I need a 5-year break.
I'm getting there with Marvel because of all this Disney Plus shit. Like it has burnt me the fuck out. And it's even more frustrating because obviously some of these shows, if not all of them, are going to be somewhat required viewing to understand the fucking movies. Like
Yeah.
good luck understanding why Scarlet Witch is doing what she's doing
Yeah.
in Doctor Strange if you haven't
I was
watched
thinking the
WandaVision.
same thing. I
And
was thinking the
so
same thing. Like kids, what the fuck, kids?
everything that I have watched from Disney Plus has left me underwhelmed. Like I thought WandaVision was a very mixed bag. I thought I had sky high hopes for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought that was a bit of a dud by the end of it. And that was a layup for me. All you got to do is just give me Captain America shit and I should be happy. I haven't watched Loki yet. What if I have no interest in cartoon Avengers. I watched Moon Knight, and Moon Knight started off really interesting. I'm like, Fight Club in a fucking like superhero context. This is weird and cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it starts off really intriguing, and then it doesn't really end in a satisfying way. Like they keep doing this 6-episode thing, and it's this weird fucking compromise between we don't want to just do a movie, but we don't really want to do a TV series either. So we're just gonna do like this fluffed out movie for 6 hours. And it hasn't worked. I tried to watch Hawkeye. I got 3 episodes in, and I haven't had the interest to go back. I have no interest in Miss Marvel. They got She-Hulk coming out. I got no interest in that. And so it's just like it was already getting to the point with the movies where it was almost too much. And a lot of people would say it was too much. I think you were on that train for a while. I mean, just the movies was like, it's almost too much. And now there's fucking like 7 shows a year. And so every month is like new Marvel shit. And so it just feels like somebody trying to shove this product up my ass instead of.
It was already like a fucking seasonally thing. Like,
Yeah.
all right, here's the winter Marvel movie. Here's the spring Marvel movie. Here's the summer Marvel movie. Here's the autumn Marvel movie.
Yeah. And so I have gotten really burnt out on Marvel. I mean, they hit it out the park once in a while. Like, I love No Way Home. I had a good time with Shang-Chi. I did not enjoy Thor. I have not really enjoyed any of the Disney Plus shows. And, Wakanda Forever, I don't even know what the fuck this movie's going to be. And I thought the first one was... I understand the cultural impact of it. But as a movie, I thought it was very overrated. And even DC to a degree isn't really exciting me with the things that they got coming out. I could give a fuck about Black Adam. I love The Rock. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't look like anything I haven't seen 1,000 times before. Shazam looks like more Shazam. The Flash had my interest. Now I don't know what the fuck that movie's even going to be.
Illegal.
We're at least 2 years away from another Batman movie, so I'm not even going to start worrying about that. I don't know. Aquaman is still, I'm like, I love the first Aquaman, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
What's your go-to Subway order?
Chicken.
Do you guys have a firehouse back there? Do you guys have a Jersey Mike's back there? I have grown to really dislike Subway. I used to love Subway for what it is, but as soon as they got away...
bread?
Yeah, as soon as they got away from the $5 footlong shit, there's no reason to go to Subway anymore because they're charging the same or more than all these other sub places that have popped up in the last 10 years, and they're nowhere near the same quality. I'll take a Jersey Mike's or a Firehouse or a Baldino sub before Subway any day of the fucking week.
I did part-time work for like a mom and pop deli where they would do subs and shit, and the more I went to Subway and the more I noticed that they had like, the portion spoon, like you're getting exactly the same amount of chicken every time. It's just like, That's not how food works, man. Like I'm getting a sub. Just fucking
I remember
spoonful
the
of
first
chicken, not
time.
the fucking. Okay, there you go, 2 milliliters.
Yeah, I remember when they first came out with the Philly cheesesteak, they tried that shit, and their spoon was way smaller than it is now. And they still don't give you a lot of meat, but I ordered a Philly cheesesteak sub that looked like maybe they cut up a piece of steak that big. I remember I ordered it, and it was a more expensive sub back then. I looked down and I looked at him, and he was done. He's like, anything else? I'm like,
Meat?
I
Please?
said, how much for like double that? So
Pretend you're making 6 of those.
yeah, exactly. If I have to go to Subway, I like their Philly cheesesteak sub if I'm really in the mood for a Philly cheesesteak and there's nothing else close. Their microwaved steak version is not a Philly cheesesteak to me, but I can tolerate their Philly cheesesteak because I like their chipotle sauce. I like the chicken bacon ranch sub. I like the oven roasted chicken sub on rare occasion, although that I don't know what kind of chicken that is, but it's good for what it is.
Light.
Yeah, that's about it. Their meatball sub is okay, but if I want a meatball sub, I go to Firehouse because their meatball and get the meatball pepperoni one. It's like a secret menu thing, but it'll change your fucking life. The meatball pepperoni sub from Firehouse is the best meatball sub ever. If I want a cheesesteak, I go to Jersey Mike's. They cook it right there on the fucking grill like you're supposed to. If I want a cold cut, I go to Publix. Can't top Publix. So Subway to
Those are
me,
southern supermarkets.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fucking delicious, and their chicken finger sub is awesome too. But Subway is my last stop in the sub game, no matter what. And back when it was $5 a sub, you could tolerate it because you're like, okay, I'm getting what I'm paying for. It's a $5 sub. Nowadays, that shit it's not $5 anymore. Like it was. I got DoorDash, and though DoorDash does mark it up a little bit, I got
Yeah.
2 fucking foot-long subs from Subway, and it cost me like $33.
No.
No.
My go-to used to be the Subway Melt, and then I discovered there's this place called Quiznos. This is how far back we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And Quiznos was the shit because you get to watch your fucking shit cook on the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
I like a hot sandwich. I got to be honest. If I'm eating something cold, it's gonna be like, I don't know, peanut butter and jelly or fucking tuna on rye or some shit.
Yeah,
I
and I
want
don't want it
cold sandwiches.
microwaved hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want it to be crispy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Subway, I think they've tried to rebrand themselves twice in the past year too. Like they had that whole rebrand where they're like, new fresh ingredients. We use fresh mozzarella and fresh guacamole, and it's like, yeah, but your still doesn't fucking taste fresh. And then they have this new thing that came out like a month or so ago where they have these Subway Select sandwiches, which are like, they have a menu now. You can alter them, but it's intended to be, you order this sub as is. It has the ingredients listed. And I'm like, well, now you've just taken away the entire appeal of Subway is going and picking all the shit that you want. And so I don't understand what the fuck they're thinking. I'm like, okay, nobody was having problem ordering Subway. I don't know why the fuck you're trying to make that process streamlined. People have a problem that your shit doesn't taste all that good anymore. When you were the only sub place around, you were the shit. But there's been a lot of other.
Chipotle adopted their exact style.
Yeah.
You go to Chipotle, it's Subway in Mexican food form. Sorry.
Yeah. Pick your meat, pick your salsa. Yeah. Subway, they're going to need
that wasn't the broken part.
They need to do what Domino's did like 15 years ago, where they had that big marketing campaign. They're like, we realized that we sucked and we have changed everything. Come on back.
We're not cardboard anymore, we swear.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. One thing I did not like about Glenn Glenda was the design, at least at the end of Bride of Chucky. It looked like a baby Chucky. Yeah, I didn't like anything about Glenn Glenda. I'm watching you on 720p.
Okay. Touche.
Burn. All right. Do you prefer Fight Club or American Psycho? Fight Club.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot closer than you would imagine, but yeah, Fight Club.
I haven't seen American Psycho in quite a long time, but that's a movie that's interesting to talk about, whereas Fight Club is endlessly entertaining. I wouldn't call American Psycho necessarily an entertaining movie. It's just a interesting.
Look at the 8:30 res at Dorsia.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever see a new Spider-Man, or does current Marvel have too much a monopoly on everything? I mean, Sony owns Spider-Man, so it doesn't matter what the fuck Marvel's doing. You're getting more Spider-Man. I mean, they
like,
just made
relationship going on. Yeah.
They just made like what, $2 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not hanging up that fucking suit anytime soon.
Yeah.
Although I am concerned because I was somebody back whenever like 2 or 3 years ago when those reports were coming out that maybe they aren't going to renew their contract, and everybody was like, fuck Sony, you should just give it to Marvel, they know what they're doing. And I'm like, guys, Sony made the Raimi trilogy, even if you don't like the third one. They made the first two. They made Into the Spider-Verse. They've made the best Spider-Man movies. They'll be fine. And then I saw Venom Let There Be Carnage and Morbius, and I was like, oh.
Dude, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
like
keep Feige on speed dial.
Yeah, it's the same thing like when people like Marvel makes the best fucking comic movies, and it's like, yeah, Warner actually they did Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises. So
dude, I think people sleep on Fox. Like you got Deadpool, you got some of the X-Men movies. Yeah. I'm like, they were doing fucking great. Like, yeah, Marvel's not the only one that figured the shit out. They were just the first one that figured out the universe shit.
Planning 50
and now
years
we're now we're paying for it a little bit. Let's see here. I keep seeing this one. Do either of you play an instrument? If so, any good? I mean, I play guitar. I wouldn't go as far as to say that I'm good because I don't practice enough. I mean, I was pretty good at a time. I could play like Master Puppets and shit, but that's when I was playing and practicing every day. I haven't picked up my guitar but maybe 2 times in the past year. So I mean, I could pick up the acoustic and play a couple of things that you'd recognize, but I wouldn't go as far as to say that I'm good. I'm capable.
Yeah, I picked them up in high school, bass and guitar, and just I didn't. I was more into movies. I was more into learning about movies than I was learning about music. So, my instrument's the microphone. Am I any good? No.
I'll do this. I hope it's in tune. If not, it's gonna be a waste of time.
Oh, here we go. Freebird. We're getting some Freebird. So while he does that, I will. So he did the Fight Club thing. Bad news. Where I live, the only fast food place nearby is Subway.
Oh, that sucks. Move. Hang on.
You don't have any food by you. I have even worse news.
It should be okay. Okay, hang on. Hang on. All right. You'll recognize it. It's in a really awkward position because I got the fucking headphones and everything. Here you go. This is better. There you go.
I forgot the words. And when I find, I don't know. Yeah, I know what you're doing. Ooh, that's really good. Oh,
I got to be in a better position because
we're doing a tier list live.
I got my fucking there you go. I got my fucking armrest. I got the microphone and the cable all contorting my ass.
I learned.
I was trying to do Rooster, but I don't think it's in the right tuning. That was the first one.
I had learned 311s down because it was all power chords. Just and I was like, oh, this is easy. Fucking guitaring is fucking. This is fuck. But
A couple people got it. A couple people said rooster. I could play it better, but I can't give a good image. I had the guitar sitting against this, plus I was this, plus the microphone was dangling on the fucking strings. Rudy, sleepy.
hey, Rudy.
What are you doing? It's 1 a.m., man. It's 2 a.m., boy. We're not in Texas time. All right.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Shit. It is. Oh. It is a broken phone.
It is broken.
It's 7 a.m.
Hey guys, have any of you seen Stephen King's Storm of the Century? Great film. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out and do a review. I have not. Have you?
Mm-mm.
Watching in 144p. Good lord.
God bless. Were you watching on
Are
a
we?
watch?
We're like pixels. Oh man. Cody, will you ever review Terrifier? I'm sure I'm gonna review it before the second one comes out in October. Just to get everybody to yell at me. It's fucking amazing, you hack.
Hack.
Yeah. Oh Lord. All right. I will call it at 2 hours and 15. So we'll do 5 more minutes. If I keep going, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I have to take a dump. Oh, okay.
That was the name of my band.
Prey opinion. All I can give you is the tweet. Legally, I'm only allowed to give a social media reaction. I can't give a full review until the 3rd. So I put out a tweet. I will read my tweet. We'll do that.
Thank you, Lincoln. I appreciate that.
Okay.
That was going to bother me for a while.
I said, Prey movie is going to live or die based on your expectations. Is it the best Predator sequel? Well, it's technically not a sequel, but anyway, is it the best Predator movie since the original? For most people, the answer will be a hell yes. Is it as good or better than the original? Not even close, nor should you expect it to be. It's not a knockout, but we're back on track. I also put, one thing I will add is that I'm very curious to check out the cut of this movie in the native Comanche language. I get why they made it an English-speaking film, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that it felt very odd having the human characters speaking in a modern dialect. And that is all you can hear from me regarding Prey until next Wednesday.
Is it any element of condiments?
Never
Never mind. Yeah, I'm not. We were talking about food before. Now, just forget it. Just listen.
Okay.
It's 7 a.m. for fuck's sake. Just move on, please. Give me the car crash already. Just go.
Oh, this is going to get some ranting between me and you. What's up, Cody and CP? Have you all ever thought about making a fan film like Never Hike Alone or It's Me, Billy? I don't have the education or the experience to do anything except write a movie at this point, and I don't even know how to formulate it into a script. That would be fun to do just to educate myself, but I have no directing experience or anything like that, so I would have my dick in my hand trying to make any kind of a film. I'm sick of fan films.
Yeah, I had an April Fool's joke last year that I was releasing a Friday the 13th prequel, and some of you got it, some of you got it. It was an interesting whatever. I don't know. No,
I'm just tired of fan films. Like
agree.
there's some good ones.
It feels like you're late to the party, even if you have a good idea.
Yeah, you listed the 2 best ones in my opinion that I've seen.
Yeah.
But there's and obviously I wouldn't go down this road, so it doesn't matter, but there's been a lot of shady shit in regards to fan films and the people that made them. I'm not going to name names. I'm not saying it's all of them, but I have had a lot of bad experiences being involved with the creators of fan films. I have heard of a lot of I have heard of a lot of bad experiences. I have seen CP and a couple others have bad experiences. And so with my limited experience, with the exception of Vince, who made Never Hike Alone, and Dave, who made It's Me, Billy, I have only had bad interactions with anybody else. I have had fan film directors that literally like fucking badger the fuck out of me trying to get coverage. I have had fan film directors try to guilt you into supporting it, like you're not a good fan or whatever if you don't jump for joy that they're bringing anything that stars Jason to light. I've had a really fucking weird interaction with one guy. What the fuck? I'll straight up just say that movie. What the fuck is that one that just came out? No.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that one is one that I've had an experience with, but
no,
the what's the one that came out with the chick from Seven? You just reviewed it or watched it not too long ago, didn't you? Like it's the one with the dollar store Carrie. Roseblood. Somebody got it in the chat. I knew somebody would. Yeah, so the guy that made Roseblood, somebody had tagged me on Twitter asking if I was going to watch or review Roseblood, and I gave a very respectful, quick little blurb saying that I'm burnt out on fan films. I've had a lot of bad experiences, and so I just don't want to involve myself in fan films for a while. And the director apparently saw my tweet and responded, and he's like, oh, well, that's a real shame that you're not going to support us because we've done so much for charity and we've done this, like doing that guilt shit. And again, I responded fine. I was just like, and in my tweet I said something about the unless it's Never Hike Alone 2, I really don't have any interest in fan films right now. And he immediately went to bashing Vince, who I consider myself friends with. I don't know what happened between them, but nonetheless, it turned into a gigantic pissing match between Vince and this guy. And I made a dad joke. He posted like a screenshot or a screen grab of some conversation between him and somebody else, and the other person's little icon or whatever was just Jason Voorhees. And so I just made a dad joke. I was like, wait a minute, when did Jason learn to text? That was literally all I said. It's a fucking stupid ass little third grade joke. And then he goes off. He's like, "You're making fun. You're supporting this guy that said all this stuff, and you're no better than him." Blah. And then blocked me. And I was like, "What for a fucking dad joke?" And so even if I had the slightest bit of interest in that dude's movie, that thing can go fuck itself. He's clearly off his goddamn rocker. And that's the type of experience that I've had with more fan film creators than not. Again, I'm not saying that they're all that way. But the ones that I have interacted with that aren't Vince DeSanti or Dave McRae, I have had very bad experiences with, and I'm done. I'm burnt on the entire thing, the entire fan film thing.
You meant the chick from Friday 7.
Yes.
I thought you meant
the movie 7.
7, and I was like, I'm really losing my mind. Yes, I did watch Roseblood. You can, if you're subbed to me on Twitch, because it's months ago, you can watch with me. But yeah, it's not good. It's
and it doesn't help that that's
room.
Yeah, it doesn't help that that's the type of thing that I've heard from everybody that I trust regarding most of these fan films, and I'm sorry. I don't trust the horror fandom as a whole when it comes to these things, because they seem to just be excited that they're getting to see anything and they praise it.
Yeah.
I understand you need to adjust a little bit. Like, I don't expect studio level shit from a fan film, although I would say the two that I praise gave me studio level shit. But I have a different scale of expectations. But even with that, all I've heard on the ones that I have flat out refused to watch or had a bad experience with is that I did myself a huge favor. And the one that I did watch, and I didn't have any interaction with the people that made it, so they're not a part of that conversation. The only one that I did watch was the one where they've got Jason's dad running around. What's that one called?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where they had Tom McLaughlin
in the first 5 minutes or whatever.
It was like, what the fuck? You have him acting the thing that he fucking wrote, and I felt offended. Like, I was like, wait a minute, why do you have him doing the thing that he wrote? And Vengeance, that's it, yes.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that for even
that felt like
3
4
seconds
stories
at a
combined.
time. Yeah, that it literally felt like four ideas that they just shot together. I did not enjoy that one whatsoever. I had no interaction whatsoever with the people that made it, so they might be great people, but I did not enjoy that. And all I've heard about the one since is that they are not as good as that. And so
Yeah,
if that's the bar, I'm like, I don't need
yeah.
to watch them. Sorry. I'm
The,
not a big enough
and
Jason fan to say, cool, guy in a hockey mask and a kill. This is 5 stars.
yeah, that was part of my April Fool's joke too. The thing
Hmm.
with my trailer for my fan film was the I closed the trailer with Adrienne King as Pamela Voorhees, and
Hmm.
then it turned out like 4 months later she was in a fucking Friday fan film. Like that's the other thing that's getting a little old. Like getting fucking people
Well,
from the
that's the
franchise's
thing that
past, and it's just like, dude, that's the Vince thing, and like everybody all right, so yeah, so they're of course they're gonna take their work because I'd rather do that than work at a con. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch a movie just because fucking so and so from Part 9 is in it. Sorry.
That's the thing that I feel like the fandom doesn't quite grasp. And I don't mean this as any disrespect to any of these
No,
actors.
no,
It's not going to take very much to hire some of these horror alumni actors.
absolutely.
It doesn't bring this gigantic stamp of legitimacy to it.
Hmm.
It just doesn't. I mean, so people they cream their fucking pants about that. They're like, well, the actress from Part 3 is coming back for this. I'm like,
Yeah,
that was probably her only fucking job relating to filmmaking for the next 5 years. Like, of course
yeah,
she's gonna fucking do it. Like, it's
uh-huh,
just. And again, I don't mean that as any disrespect. I think it's just a very realistic thing. They make their careers going to these cons and living off the nostalgia and the fan base or whatever. And if you pay them a decent amount of money to come star in this, it doesn't matter if it's the biggest piece of shit in the world. They're gonna be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll
that'll
take a
be their
weekend.
biggest day's work pay for years. Like that, yeah. These people are like fucking charging $15 a headshot, and they're signing.
Hmm.
Like that's what they're doing for a living right now. Of course, they'll take the acting work for 4 times the money with you know less time. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Hmm.
But it's like you said, Cody. Do you want a movie, or you just want to see like the thing that you like again
Yeah.
in something new? Because like that's weird. Like to me, like I'm a Jason fan. I guess I'm unofficially the Jason fan film watcher, but like I need more. I just okay. It's Jason. Cool. What
And
what what else?
part of it is that I wish that there was more fan films and other fucking franchises. Like we've had like what
Fucking a.
8 or 9 Jason movies since Never Hike Alone hit. Yeah, it just I don't. I mean, we just had that one that was released, the Charles or whatever. I don't know if I'm gonna check it out or not. Of course, Cecil as his Dylan's New Nightmare. It's still in production, I believe. There's other ideas out there that maybe are going to be interesting, but
Freddy
yeah,
movie, right? Yeah.
I'm especially sick of Friday the 13th fan films because they're all
Preach.
just the. I mean, look, Vince set the bar very high.
Yeah.
There's just no getting around that. He set the bar very high, and
He's the blueprint.
yes,
That's it.
and that's what people are doing is they're taking the face value of that blueprint. Let's pick my favorite place in the timeline and go back and do more of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool when Vince did it because nobody else did it. Certainly didn't do it that good. And now it's just like everybody trying to do their version of that, and nobody's coming anywhere fucking close, in my opinion. You got something unique like It's Me, Billy. That's the only Black Christmas fan film I've ever heard of. And so right off the bat, I take the quality out of it. I'm already interested because that's unique. That's different. And luckily you got Dave McRae and Bruce, and they made a very studio quality movie that I think.
Dave, the Halloween guy, made a very, very true. Like you almost feel like writing a letter to Mister Yikes over there, and
Mhm,
saying, "Look, this guy, this isn't his big deal, but
mhm,
he gave you quality, and he did a nice homage there, which I can't really talk about because it spoils things, but it was well respected. It's a decent slasher,
mhm.
and if you're a fan of the original Black Christmas, there's things there for you,
Yes.
and it's just like what the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't lean on some fucking actor or whatever. He just, you know, what he did to get people's, hey, remember that thing, is he referenced a certain aspect of it, and he did so masterfully, if I say so. And
Mm-hmm.
Dave, I would never associate with Black Christmas. It's so funny. It was just like,
Yeah.
really? Okay.
Yeah. If he was doing a Halloween fan film, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
batted an eye. I'd be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
of course. But yeah, when he announced he was doing Black Christmas, I was like, please, like, you don't have a very high bar because those fucking remakes are whoa.
2019.
God, dude, that
Just-
set the
just
bar
take a step.
so fucking low. But yeah, those guys they're doing things on another level. They're making shit that makes the studios look bad. I mean, the other fan films I'm seeing, it's like, yeah, this is a dude that bought a camera
For a tenth of the budget.
Yeah. You guys gonna get the Warrior Steelbook next month? I absolutely will, because I love that movie, and it would be nice to own a copy of the film that doesn't spoil the fucking ending with the cover. It still baffles me that they chose that as the cover art for Warrior. It's like, that's literally the final shot, dude. What the fuck? I remember that there's two Blu-ray covers that have always blown my mind. Warrior is one of them, and the other one is Hancock. You remember when Hancock
Oh yeah, just his
came
face
out
with the sunglasses on. Or
No,
whatever.
no, that was the movie poster. The Blu-ray cover is him standing there and Charlize Theron standing there in her superhero getup. And it's like, you just spoiled the only like twist in the fucking movie. Like, that's the whole second half is, oh shit, she's one too. And you just put it like, oh, okay, I guess she's a superhero. That was a fucking weird one.
Warrior was the first time, like action-ish movie where I like welled up.
Mhm.
You know, towards the end there in the third act, I was getting choked up. It's all right, and I was like, hang on, just hang on.
Yeah.
They're-
Do you like the movie Hatchet? I'm lukewarm on the first one. I can have fun with the first one. I'm not a fan of the others at all. There's something really bad and cheesy that kind of loops back around and becomes kind of entertaining about the first one, whereas I think that 2 and 4 especially are just bad. And the third one had some things going for it, but the biggest things they had going for it, they completely pissed away. Like, you're familiar with the Hatchet series?
yeah.
Okay, so you've got Kane Hodder.
I'm not here to suck Kane Hodder off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've got Kane Hodder playing Victor Crowley. In the third film, the main guy that they build up the entire movie to eventually have a one-on-one fight with Victor Crowley is Derek Mears. So you've got old Jason and new Jason that are going to fight at some point in the movie. And the fight is pathetic, and it's like 3 seconds long. I'm like, you built that up the entire fucking movie. That could have been badass to have this mercenary Derek Mears fighting Victor Crowley, who you know is the old Jason, and they just kind of pissed that away. And it's one of the few times where I feel like Danielle Harris didn't add to the movie. They recast the main girl, and they recast her with Danielle Harris for 2 and 3. And I didn't think that she was as good for the movie as the chick in the first one. She's clearly a better actress than the chick in the first one. It's hard to explain. There's something about the original chick that just kind of fit in with that badness, where I feel like the talent level of Danielle Harris was like too much for the movie, if that makes any sense. It's like she's taking it seriously when the rest of the movie's not. So I don't know. You'd have to watch it. Maybe I'm crazy. But anyway, I'm okay on the first one. Not a fan of the franchise, though.
What? Wait.
What's going on?
I don't know. Somebody's got like a 5-message thing going on.
Oh, okay. Is that Richie work shit? And I'm seeing
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where it starts because it's kind of all like what? No, no. I think I understand what you're trying to
I
say, but
I
no.
I'm not even gonna feed into that. I'll just say I will do whatever the fuck I want. I do love and appreciate the fans, but the fans don't dictate what I do ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, this goes on forever, so we're just gonna put you in
That's what I'm
timeout,
saying.
sir.
Like,
Don't care.
fuck,
Let's see
where did
here.
that come from? I don't understand. Like what the fuck?
Fuck, it always comes back to that shit at some point. Do you like the film Frozen by Adam Green? It's okay. Adam Green's the guy that did the Hatchet movies. I'm not really, obviously, a big fan of his work, but that one's okay. Did you see that one where the three people are stuck on the ski lift?
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was all right. It was all right.
Do you ever think of starting a side channel for gaming? I do have a side channel for gaming. It's called Cody Leach Game Chamber. I haven't done anything with it the past couple of months, but I did start it. There's a decent amount of content over there. I will get back to it at some point. Yeah, I just don't have anything relevant to say in gaming at the moment. The fourth Hatchet movie was just what the fuck. The dude from Impractical Jokers was like the best actor in it. Yeah, I know. That's the pathetic thing. I even said that in the review. I'm like, what kind of movie do you have where fucking Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers is your best actor? No disrespect to him, because I love Impractical Jokers, but you're like, you wouldn't expect him to be the best actor in the film. And it's like, where did this go wrong? Oh, man. When do you think the next horror boom will happen? I mean, we're in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have, I mean, it's
You're
been
welcome.
booming for
You're
the
welcome
past.
for creating a series that asked for horror heroes. You're welcome.
Taking all the fucking credit.
Fucking ain't right, motherfucker.
What do you think of Felissa Rose's movies? I'm only familiar with Sleepaway Camp.
That goes back to the other example. Like she'll,
I know that's pretty much her legacy, is that role. I mean, every picture she takes at a con is that face. So
yeah.
Seems like a very nice lady. Like I mean, I would like to meet her, but I haven't been familiar with her doing anything since
You'd be
Sleepaway Camp.
surprised if you had let's say you're making a film, not even a fan film, and you had a $50,000 budget, you can get Felissa Rose on your film.
Yeah.
And I'm including crew, fucking whatever the fuck you need to. $50,000 is nothing in filmmaking, but you can get Felissa Rose in your movie if you had 50 grand to film. That's not meant to be an insult. It's just it's like what we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. She's in Hatchet 4. Yeah, I remember she was in that one. She's had a smaller role though. When you said Felissa Rose movies, I'm thinking she's like leading movies. Opinion on The Last of Us Part 1 remake. I mean, look, I'm a whore for that game, so you're asking the wrong person for an unbiased opinion, but I'm excited for it. The fact that they're going back and rebuilding the graphics from the ground up and making it a game that's on par with Last of Us Part 2 as far as the graphics and the fidelity and the controls and everything.
No shit.
I think it's going to be very, very exciting for
for
those of us that love the game. I get people that are like, why am I going to buy this game again for $70? I get it. I'm a whore, so I will be there. If it was $100, I probably would buy it. So, are you done with Twitch? I don't know. I could never figure Twitch out, to be honest with you. Twitch never really
market there.
Twitch never really appealed to me as far as what you have to do on Twitch. I think that I'm much more fit in when I made my gaming channel. I started doing my live streams on that, and I think it just makes more sense for me because I'm not going to be somebody that I've tried to figure out how to put the chat in and do the fucking raids, and I'm not into it like that. So I think that what I'm doing on Twitch is what I'm doing on YouTube, and so it just makes more sense.
What's
Go ahead.
funny to me is, I have not figured gaming out on Twitch, but the things that I see that are successful is essentially what we're doing right now. People just BSing live, and
Hmm.
what we would call reaction channels, like just people
Yeah.
just hanging out, streaming, fucking 6 7 hours, and people like doing super chats. Here, watch this video and talk about it,
Hmm.
and it's a very it's we're essentially kind of doing what I've seen most of, or at least 60% of Twitch. Twitch is a lot of live streaming. It's kind of
Yeah.
odd.
And it makes no sense for me to put a lot of time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears and to try to build an audience over there because you and I can do what we're doing now and have
Yep.
350 people watching at 2:30 in the
Yeah,
morning.
if you were established over there, we'd be over there doing this very
Yeah,
same thing.
exactly. And so as many times as I streamed on Twitch, I never got more than, 20 or so people watching. It just, I don't feel like I'm a Twitch guy. If I never made my gaming channel, I never would have stopped using Twitch. But now that I have my gaming channel, I don't think it makes any sense to do Twitch because I'm just taking time and energy away from the gaming channel to do the same exact shit. So most likely, yes, I'm done on Twitch. I tried it, never really clicked for me.
All right, all his subscribers over to my channel.
Yeah, exactly. Still sad Last of Us 2 got dark faded. That game is damn good. Yeah, I don't get it. I think Last of Us 2 was fucking brilliant. I've yet to hear somebody that hates that game come to me with like a rational explanation that doesn't seem like they wanted to hate it or like they didn't like one decision that happens early on in the game and then the rest of the game they were just looking for more reasons to be mad. So whatever. I enjoyed it. Felissa Rose, among the others, returned for the return to Sleepaway Camp. Yeah, I've heard that one's a fun little experience too.
Cool.
Dude, nobody knows what you're talking about. Just please stop. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, you're not going to. You're just going to end up frustrating people. Thoughts on Creep Show is turning 40 this year. I have never seen it.
Ditto.
Oh, wow. Okay. I feel like I'm in the minority not having seen it. But yeah, I've passed it a number of times. And I'm not really a big anthology guy. Very few of them work for me. So I've never taken the time. For the channel, great to see you doing this full time. A brave leap to be admired. Keep going. CP, love your stuff too. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for the exclamation point at the end. And good morning, slaughtered
Yes.
lamb.
Yes.
I'm in your time zone if you ever want to chat, just for the record. Up in Fife, Scotland, the moose is in the hoose. I'm saying that too loud. I'm gonna get kicked out of another place.
I am full time on YouTube. I have been for nearly a year. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Let's see. I've never played either Last of Us. I've never really understood the hate that 2 gets. They're both brilliant games, but especially I would highly encourage you to check out the first game, especially since, I would still say that Last of Us Remastered from the PS4 era is a very good game that ages very well. And if you are part of the PlayStation Plus, the new one, you can play it for free. But even with the new one coming out, I would suggest getting that one. The reason that a lot of people hate the second one is because they kill a major character early on in the game. And for me, it's for narrative reasons that make 100% sense with the story that happened in the first game, no matter how tragic or bittersweet it is. And most people, when they found out about that or when they played the game and experienced that, they then got angry and just decided to hate everything else that goes on in the game. Now, admittedly, the second game does make some very big risks. They essentially make you play as the villain of the story for half of the game. And some people did not like that. And I understand that to an extent. But when you look at the story that they're trying to tell about the cycle of violence and about how villains and heroes are all about the perspective, I think it's very brilliant. I think that it's very profound, and I think that it has a lot more going for it than a lot of those people even bothered to try to look at. I mean, when you look at something that happens in a post-apocalyptic world like Last of Us, and you're following Joel and Ellie in the first game, you're killing a lot of fucking people. And for all of those people that you killed, except for the ones that are obvious, like, you know, rapists and murderers and stuff, and there is some of those in that game, for all the people that you kill in that first game, from their perspective, Joel and Ellie are the fucking monsters. The random people that are coming in, these drifters and killing people. And Last of Us 2 kind of holds that mirror up and says, these people that you love, you're the protagonists of the story, but they're also the antagonists of other people's stories. And I thought that it was just very, very creative and bold. And,
Gay.
Yeah, there's also that element too. So there's a lesbian couple in it, and that set off all the anti-woke crowd as well. But
Read as 5,000 YouTube videos just hating on a fucking game for one stupid reason.
And not only that, the cute part about it is that they all of those channels acted like that was something that was changed for Last of Us Part 2, and it's literally something that's revealed in the DLC prequel chapter of the first fucking game. Years ago. And it's a reveal about her sexuality that actually adds to the tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the context of she lost her best friend, and then when you play this, you find out it wasn't just her best friend, it was this girl that she was actually had this childhood in love with. And so it adds this whole other layer of tragedy to it, to where it's just like, dude, this is not like some woke thing where they're like, oh yeah, let's just make her a lesbian.
Unless she's dressed like Lara Croft from 1997's Tomb Raider, chicks shouldn't be in video games. Like that's common knowledge. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Hello.
I never play as Jill in Resident Evil. Thank you, Cody, for the review on Terminator Resistance. I never would have given the game a chance till you recommended. Just finished it. It was a blast. Yeah, that was a very good game for what it was. A lot of people will sleep on that one. Holy fuck. All right. I got to kill it at 245. I keep going. I keep saying we're going to kill it, and I keep going. I was hyped for Last of Us Part 1, but I don't want to pay full price for a prettier version of a game I already have 2 copies of. I only have the remastered version because it came with my PS4. And fair enough. Everybody's got their own limit. There's certainly a bit of double dipness to it, but they're doing a lot of things to it. A lot of things where I feel like it's going to be worth the money. It's going to be worth the double dip. And I think we can probably cut it there. What's up?
Some people don't have personal relationships, and there's a question that really kind of pisses me off because
go ahead and click it. We'll end on that note.
Where did you go, you bastard? This.
Why do you still associate with Sean Chandler when he frequently comments on hateful channels like The Quartering? Why would I give a fuck?
Exactly. He comments. It's just a comment. Like, what associate? Why? Yeah, like.
I don't know anything about The Quartering, but I know that they're lumped in with that
he's
whole
one of those
geeks and gamers and
assholes. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't give a fuck. Even if Sean, look, I've said this so many times. I'm not somebody that judges people off of their political affiliation or whatever, unless they're extremist assholes one way or the other. Then you can kind of get into that argument. But whatever opinion Sean has on any channels, as long as he's not bashing me or bashing people that I'm close with, I have no reason to give a fuck. I don't know who the quartering is. I don't care who the quartering is. I've never watched the quartering. And so whether he's praising or shitting on the quartering, I could give a fuck less. Sean is one of my best friends. He's a very good guy. He's been one of the most helpful people as far as guiding me in YouTube. He was the first person that I would talk to. He talked to me for over an hour when I was talking about going full time, and I could give a fuck.
If the quartering said something about Cody distinctly, that would be a different story. But just, asking somebody why they associate with somebody because of commenting on somebody else's channels is that's ridiculous.
Comments like he leaves comments. I don't care.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm kind of confused. Like that's ultra. That's like the full. I'll say shit like this because fucking I can't stand both ends of the spectrum. The quartering is grifting hard on the anti woke shit. He's clickbait personified when it comes to. He said that fucking his Brie Larson material like paid for like something in his house or some shit like that. Like, cool, bro. You riled up a bunch of fucking 14-year-olds, whatever. But this response, this counter to like.
I know Sean very well, and I
Yeah.
can almost guarantee if he is commenting on the quartering, it's about how ridiculous something that he's saying is, or he's
Or
giving
about-
a counter argument. He's engaging with them in the hopes that there's a conversation that has a positive outcome.
Yeah.
Sean is somebody that is a person of faith. You're never going to see him outright shitting on anybody. Even the biggest troll in the world, he will sit and have a conversation with. So why would I take offense to that in any way? Even if the quartering had 15 videos talking about how horrible I am, why would I care? Sean still talks with people that I am very much not friends with, and I don't care because what my relationship with somebody is not something that should or I would want to define Sean's relationship with them. Two very different people. And I'm not somebody that like gatekeeps my friend. You're talking to that person? Well, fucking me or them.
You're not? I said you're not?
Yeah. Exactly. They walked that line being a hero in the first game, and the literal ending, those were innocent people. This was going to happen. I wasn't surprised what happened in the second game. Exactly. Like, you literally go fucking psycho murderer in the very last chapter of that game for reasons that you totally are agreeing with after playing that entire game. But the second game then holds that mirror up and says, what about this shit? And you're like, oh, yeah, good point. What are you laughing about?
Fucking, I can't even tell if they're like jokes at this point because I don't know. Did we say this off the air or because I don't know if that's a serious question or not.
I don't know if it's a joke or not either. If you're serious, the movie's not woke, and that's...
It's a fucking joke at this point. It's like an ongoing gag.
Yeah, it is. Oh, Lord. I'm fucking addicted. I can't sign off. God damn it.
Dude, it's money. What the fuck? I wouldn't leave either.
I said it 2 hours we're getting off. And then I said it 2 hours and 15. I said 2 hours and 45. And I'm like,
count
for
the
3.
super chats. Count the super chats for the last
Thoughts on the
45
Zero movies. Thoughts on the Zorro movies and Dead Space remake. I love Mask of Zorro. I think that's a fucking kick-ass movie. I don't remember Legend of Zorro being anywhere near as good. I'm very excited for the Dead Space remake, though. That's a franchise that the first 2 games are survival horror classics in my mind. I don't think the third one was a bad game, but for whatever reason, it just kind of stopped whatever progress they were having. I don't know why that franchise went away. He's laughing, so I'm assuming he's joking.
Yeah.
Cody, go to bed, dude. I'm close. I'm feeling the slip.
I'm getting
Starting
the
to
coffee
slur,
ready. What are you talking
starting
about?
to slur words. Yeah, I see sunrise behind you and shit.
Yeah,
That was the first thing we talked about.
first. Yeah, you're gonna have to rewind 4 hours to get to
Yeah.
that.
Oh man. I find 90% of the people that shout woke to be hilarious. That's because most of the shit they're calling woke is not woke. It's just first of all, the hilarious
Yeah.
thing is that the term woke, I think Bill Burr did a bit on this. The term woke is something that was fucking hijacked by white people, where woke initially came out and it was about being aware of social injustices for black people. And then
Mm-hmm.
now white people stole the word woke and now they would just apply woke to everything that we don't like. And so if there's a gay couple in it, if there's a female empowerment thing in there, if there's anything with social commentary, any kind of a political edge, even if it's 1% of the movie, it's woke. And
Yeah.
so you have movies like Black Christmas 2019 that deserves the term woke because that is some absolute woke garbage.
It's just feeding into a social narrative.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yes.
It's
And
not a
that's
story. It's
yes.
it's a
It's a
fucking
message that takes 90 minutes to beat
yeah.
into your fucking skull.
It's a hashtag that disguises itself as a movie.
Exactly.
That's what woke shit is.
Yeah.
You know, saying fucking I don't know.
I mean, you got Selena Kyle that says the words white privilege one time in the Batman, and people were calling that movie woke because of that. You've got
Christ.
Prey coming out that literally is a classic story of a woman trying to prove herself to be a hunter. Like it's almost like Mulan. I mean, we've seen it. It's a cliche storyline. That's about the worst you could say about it. Is it's a cliche story arc, but it's not woke. It's not like putting all the men down to prop the woman up or anything like that. And even if they do that, sometimes it's a way of entertainment. That there's a funny way to do that. And you got Wrong Turn that people called woke turn because gay couple held hands for 2 seconds. I mean, there's so many ways where I almost wish that I could mute the fucking word on YouTube just so I don't have to read it anymore because it's so headache inducing to hear it with every single movie that comes out, every TV show.
It gets clickbaited to hell, and I really wish everybody that grifts and clickbaits on that term and thinks that movies today are filled with you know, social messaging. I'll tell you what, how about you erase every lead female character from every movie ever? Guess what you're losing? You're losing the Alien franchise, you're losing
just about every horror, slasher movie.
all of horror. So
Terminator.
Like, yeah. You're being a moron, like is what you're doing. Like you're just extending it and making you're pouring fucking gas onto a fucking fire that, you know, was dying. Like stop with that shit.
Somebody said they're disappointed in me. Oh, I'm sorry. Just imagine how disappointed I am to hear that. Cody, thanks for introducing me to the Lost Boys. I really enjoyed it. I love the Doors music and the whole soundtrack. The Lost Boys got one of the best soundtracks ever. Absolutely one of the best soundtracks ever. I still haven't seen X. I want to because of the praise, but unfortunately I'm always iffy of A24 and Ty West films. Look, I have a very bad history with A24 films, and I was just talking to CP about this a couple of days ago. The only other 2 films that I've seen from Ty West, I did not like either of them at all. So I would still say give X a chance because I watched The House of the Devil and The Innkeepers. I thought both of them were absolute snooze fests. The vast majority of A24 I do not appreciate on very many levels, and I love X. So
yeah,
you agree with me as far as your reservations, but I think you would like it.
Yeah,
based off of
that's a 3-way. Let's call it a 3-way there because I'm not big on Ty West either, but holy shit, X is really fucking good. I want horror movies without a political message. I've got news for you. Yeah, they live by.
The Quartering
Gone.
has talked about Cody a couple times in his streams. I don't know why. I don't know where I would be relevant in there.
I'm intrigued. I see Cody's high. I'm low. I don't mind getting in the muck.
This is why I love CP. For real, no matter what, I'm cutting it off at 3, though. Otherwise, I'm going to get my wife in here half awake screaming at me like, what the fuck are you doing?
Making money, motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm working! Oh, man. What game keeps getting worse every time you play it? I mean, there's a lot of games that don't age well.
Tic-tac-toe?
Yeah. Miss Pac-Man. There's not really a game that I keep playing that I like less every time. I don't replay games very often. There's a lot of games that don't age very well, though.
If you know my name is Charles, you should know my channel's Willis Greedia.
Yeah.
Nobody's been calling me
Wili
Charles.
Screedia.
Yeah.
Is there a video of a nightmare pitch somewhere from you, Cody? It was on a Q&A that I did, but I also did a video, top 10 horror movies that need a remake or something like that. It's the one where I have remake or sequel in the thumbnail. It's a fairly recent video, but that one, when I get to Nightmare, I talk about my idea.
I disagree.
I posted your review of Men in the A24 Facebook group, and they were less than pleased. It doesn't surprise me. That's a fucking echo chamber if I've ever heard one. Which actor bothers you more, Kevin Spacey or Ezra Miller?
Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey had talent, at least.
Yeah, there's so many movies that I love by Kevin Spacey that it's painful to try to separate the artist from the art. Whereas Ezra Miller, I like Perks of Being a Wallflower a lot. Aside from that, I haven't really seen him in anything that I enjoy. I don't even really care for his Flash that much. Even the one that was directed by Zack Snyder. Let's see. No.
Thank God.
All right. Did you ever watch the Jeepers Creepers trailer?
For the non-Salvo one?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay, well, we won't discuss that then, because we discussed that last time. Let's see here. How painful was it to review and rank the Hellraiser franchise, Cody? It wasn't as painful as Wrong Turn and Leprechaun. It was just longer. It's not a good series, but I actually kind of enjoyed the farther you go along in the franchise, the less the quality you experience to a certain degree. And I kind of enjoyed the last couple of movies for how bad they got. Like Hellworld, the one that is just a generic 2000 slasher film with Pinhead thrown in there. It's got Henry Cavill and a couple other people. Lance Henriksen. I enjoyed that one just for how bad it was.
Henry Cavill?
Yeah. The one Hellraiser Revelations, the first one that didn't have Doug Bradley. There was some extremely bad things about that movie, but I kind of enjoyed some aspects to it as well. So I don't know. It's one of those franchises where the middle section was painful because it was all these generic early 2000s like crime cop scripts that just
Adapted,
threw Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And so all those movies all bled together for me. Whenever it got to the tail end of it and started to just go real bonkers, I kind of enjoyed myself again to a certain degree. Oh, all right. We got room for like one more. No, I don't know any details. I haven't heard anything since COVID messed up Dave being able to come to the U.S. I don't know if that's still the case. I have no clue. That's a question for Cecil. You dropped the ball, Cody. Okay. I'm assuming these are all the same account.
Yeah.
Nope is way too woke. Oh, okay. Cool. I'm sure every movie that comes out is woke.
Merch.
Let me find one here. Just watch Charles stand up. Really good stuff.
Thank you.
Give me a good one to end on, guys. Before I fall asleep live. Just get like super chats pouring in for the next 4 hours while I'm sitting here catatonic.
And I'd be like, well, Cody, if I were Cody, I would
Yeah.
say.
All right, we got a super chat to end on. We'll just do this. Sorry, this is all I can afford. Hey, don't apologize. I appreciate it. This is going to sound over dramatic, but I'm not. Your channel has saved my life since parents passed. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you had to go through that. But I'm glad that anything that I could do to help go along, to help you get along through that. So I appreciate it. I'll continue to entertain. Heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
Best Bill Burr stand-up. That's a good one. We'll end on that one.
You can't hit women.
Yeah, they're all fucking great, dude. I haven't seen a bad special from him. Did you see his newest one that just came out like 2 weeks ago?
No.
No?
If it's within the last month, I have not seen it.
Yeah, it just came out. That one's really good. That one's it's a variation on what his set whenever I saw him live. I think he was a little funnier when I saw him, but I saw him after they filmed it, and of course he probably tweaked a little bit more. But it's a really good one. He's got a great abortion joke in there. He's got a point near the end where he's like, all right, like we've talked about things that have split everybody and we've gone debated, so I like to bring the room together, get everybody on the same page at the end, so let's talk about abortion. But yeah, he's got some good stuff in that one. All right, guys, there's no more super chats, right? Okay, that is it for me. Thank you, CP, for spending your morning with me.
Yeah. Go make some coffee, have some breakfast.
I'm going to go crawl into bed and try to get a few hours of sleep before I wake up in the morning. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Had a couple of gems there at the end, but you guys are part of the journey too, aren't you? Indeed. So thank you to everybody that was watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm extremely tired, so I have nothing profound to say at the end. I'm just the mashing words together. Baby. But I will see. Yeah, exactly. I will see you guys. See tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get my Sleepaway Camp review done. So I'm hoping to get that tomorrow, and then we'll try to review those throughout the next week or so. So I will see you then. Anything to look forward to besides the Alice in Chains tier list, Charles?
Somebody talked me into doing a Who Would Like That tier list, which God. It's gonna get views, so why would I not do it? So I'm going to be ranking or tiering the, I think, 11 extreme films I've watched over the course of the Who Would Like That series.
Gotcha.
Yeah, fucking infamous movies like Serbian film and shit like that. Willis Screedy.
You better get creative with those categories. Don't just do the S to C bullshit. You better
I did
vomit worthy or something.
Yeah, I think the top category is like actually a movie.
Oh, that's great. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for us. Thank you. There you go. Somebody dropped in CP's link for his channel. So if you want to subscribe, please do. And we will see you some other time.